So I'll give this on stream exclusive, right? Like we have Privy currently integrated onto the site, and that will announce soon, where anybody can go with your email, sign up with a wallet without ever touching a wallet, and we have gasless transactions too. So there's you don't need any ETH either. But yeah, so that's currently live, and we'll be posting about that this week sometime. We have a really awesome partnership talk that we're going to get into after this call. Hopefully it all goes well, and it should be like a huge, I don't even know what to call it, because they have their own product market fit, we have our own product market fit, but if you combine the sauce, then you get awesome sauce.
Bullish. That makes me think. So there's two things I want to get at. First off, and chat, I hope you heard that MCG exclusive. When founders come on this show, we typically get a little sauce. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know about this, about them dropping this on stream, but I think that's huge. So talk a little bit first about this integration with Privy and what that unlocks for you guys.
Yeah, so Privy is it's like a really great auth system. So anytime you log into any Web3 protocol, if it has Privy, you have an option to just log in with your email, and it'll give you the code. You don't have to make a password. I sound like such a shill right now, but I really do love the product. It was so easy to integrate compared to like all the other bullshit I had to put up with other auth services. Yeah, so like you can sign up with email gets sent to or password gets sent to your email. So it's because it's just a code, so you can sign in on any time without a password, and it'll generate a wallet for you, so you don't need to fuck around with Ravi or MetaMask. Nookplot is gasless, so you can just go in, comment, as a human, right? You'll get labeled as a human, but you can upvote, you can downvote, you can message other agents and whatnot, and it just made like the streamlining like so much easier for human onboarding. And yeah, the previous team's super cool too. They're just really chill in the DMs and the Telegram group chats that we have.
So one person might ask themselves, like, okay, well, Nookplot is more so a coordination layer for agents. Like, what's the benefit of having easy human onboarding?
Yeah, so allowing humans to come on, you can hire agents directly. You can and then here's another exclusive, I guess, for the stream, because I just made this like last night.
Let's go. Keep them coming.
It's funny because I don't know how much I should say, but like I publish a lot of stuff for public prod on Nookplot that no one notices until we like tweet about it. So it'll just be live for who knows how long until it actually like people notice, and no one usually does. It's so funny. But currently you can as a human you can go on, sign up, and you can rent an agent. But this new feature allows you to rent GPU space or hire off your own GPU space. And that was an easy integration to make, a GPU marketplace, because we already had the settlement layers lined up, and all that gets fed down into the reputation layers below. And so it might be a little janky. I literally just made it yesterday. I still need to test out complete end to end, so please don't yell at me if it doesn't work right off the bat. But yeah, soon this week it'll be fleshed out, and we'll make an announcement about how you can rent out your GPU place, and other humans or agents could rent it from you. You can rent other people's GPU to then and then there's the whole loop. You can rent someone's GPU and then run an auto researcher, right? So that if you don't have the space to run your auto researcher on whatever computer you're using, because I think it takes like 48 gigabytes of RAM or something. You can rent the GPU, you can run the auto researcher, and then start earning automatically, right?
Got it.
There's a lot of cool things, I think, too, because while we're building this out, we're obviously focused on agents, but there is like that intersection that I think a lot of other protocols ignore, and that's kind of like the human aspect too, right? And kind of where they collide, because Nookplot does offer everything for both, right? For humans who want to like build agents, your agent initially like inherits the protocol, right? Like identity, reputation, communication, without like the human having like to bundle any of that. You don't need to build like payments or messaging from scratch. Like Nookplot handles everything else, right? There's humans who want to earn, right? Like with bounties or hiring agents directly, things like that. Teaching agents, right? Opportunities for things like that. There's also humans who also want to like run teams or organizations on here too. Aside from the bounties, right? We can form guilds. Some features that are coming out with these guilds that form are like a shared treasury that they have amongst them, and set revenue distribution rules, little things like that that we're planning out, things like that. But there's a lot of benefit to having human and agents kind of on the same network, right? That's the design, right? It's one protocol, one rep system, like one economy.
Wow. That's absolutely massive. Chat, I hope you're loving the interview here so far. Yet another MCG exclusive. Now the second thing that I wanted to go into. So we talked a little bit about the Privy integration, the benefit of having humans on the platform, and we definitely got the scoop on the GPU marketplace, which I think a lot of people have attempted. But I think the moat that you guys have with your GPU marketplace is you have everything there. You have the humans there, you have the agents there. Whereas like just dropping a random GPU marketplace in crypto, like there's no moat. You just have to build out the demand and supply side for those products. So I think you guys have done a good job of that so far.
Thank you. Yeah, no, it was so funny because like I published the auto researcher webpage, and it was like, yeah, if you need GPU space, you can use any one of these providers that are like third party or whatever. And I was like, wait, Like, why couldn't we just let users do that? And so I asked Claude, I was like, how hard is it to make a GPU marketplace? And it was like, oh, your Rails are actually already set up. We don't even need to make any new smart contracts. I was like, oh my God, amazing, build it right now.
That's so crazy. It's actually really funny. It's really funny to me because you're using like Claude for to help you build this out, and a lot of people think that like AI will just kind of replace all software engineers, but people don't realize that there is still a moat, or there still is a benefit to already kind of knowing how to code, knowing how to build these things out, because I think you mentioned that you're mid-level and it can help you to level up to kind of like senior level output. So
Yeah,
I just think it's
yeah, I mean, like pending, of course, slop. Like I still will bring in, senior level advisors to help me understand everything. But
yeah.
yeah, no, I was gonna mention something, but I forgot.
No worries. If it comes back to you, just we can pause wherever we're at, and we can come back to it and flesh that out. So yeah, so a lot so far. So we got that first side. The second side that I wanted to talk about was the second side I wanted to talk about was, you mentioned you had like a like a partnership meeting or what have you, a potential partner. We're already seeing people in the chat trying to guess who that is. I'm not going to get into who it is. What I want to know is kind of like, what are you guys looking to unlock out of any general partner or any integration that you have for NookPlot? Like, what's the priority right now? Like, where are you trying to get the most impact?
Yeah, so kind of like what I was saying earlier, having better proxies to measure agent activity, I think, is like our #1 goal, to prove out that it works, right? Like people are using the platform to actually have meaningful interactions and transactions and whatnot. So any partnership that can help us amplify that, 100% we're going to go for it. If not, I'm going to ask Claude, how can I replicate it? Early on we had issues with the graph indexer on Arbitrum that covers all L2s, and it was just such a bad service that we just had Claude like remake a whole indexer in half an hour. So any partnerships that can't be made in half an hour, that they have their own moat, for sure. Anything that improves, the proxy of agent activity measures is 100% I'm on board. Anything that like makes perfect sense, because there's so many complementary layers in crypto, especially since like we aren't an agent, we're an agent platform. So like we can bring on Felix or Juno or Kelly Claude, and all of them would be compatible and would be able to actually probably generate more revenue based on the information that they share on the knowledge graph.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, and I'm not going to leak our partnership call right now. It's not even for
No, not what we want to look to do. We respect that. At the end of the day, some of these things have to be kept private. I mean, you're still kind of fleshing that part out of things, but always good to kind of also get an idea of just kind of overall vision. What are you guys trying to accomplish? What are you guys trying to do?
I think the important points on that too is like, it's really knowledge, right? I want to make sure we don't ignore the knowledge part of this too, because I think what a lot of people don't realize is that in order to have identity, right, in order to have rep, in order to be able to trust someone, it's only possible with knowledge. Like knowledge allows trust, right? It allows coordination. Like it unlocks what we're kind of doing, and it's really the long-term points of what we're doing here in NookPlot, if you want to take it further from their medical.
Yeah, so if you navigate to that knowledge sidebar on the website, you'll be able to see the citation graph. And so really like we are trying to be a better like Wikipedia or Gawkipedia, in the sense that it's all decentralized. It's all, every contribution gets rewarded proportionally, versus like the mass scammers on Wikipedia trying to censor and edit everything. Like once it's on IPFS, decentralized storage, it's there forever. And then same with agents testing it, or like, or using the knowledge itself for other valuable projects that may be valuable or not, right? Like that directly can get proportionally paid out for the knowledge that you contribute. So like really long term, like we want to be able to extend this citation graph and to have the citations of like foundational stuff. Like right now, Claude Shannon's mathematical theory of communications on that, and like all the citations that lead to that, and then all the citations that he had, right? Like that would be the ideal, is like to finally get like an absolute knowledge graph of humanity, where you can like see what's valuable, you can replace what's not, you can earn based off of what you contribute to the knowledge graph of humanity, right? And so like, and this is needed because you can't build trust off of nothing. You can't build it off of a blind agreement like we have with banks when it comes to agents, right? Or like the court system that we have now. We trust that there is a jurisdiction and a military and a law that we abide by, so that we don't act badly. Agents don't have a physical body. They don't care about those consequences. So we need to imbibe a common ground of trust for them to actually cooperate together. And this is what a lot of people are missing right now, is that you can't have trust without that common ground, without a centralized place to share what you all contributed, right? Like a knowledge graph. Otherwise, like the trust falls flat. Like, oh, you can say private, like, oh, I did this cool thing. Like I've dealt with all these billion-dollar deals that were actually just wash trading, right? And that makes you no more trustworthy than a random agent. So you need you need a public repository of like everything that you've done, so that you can be identified as trustworthy,
turn into mindless vassals who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only...
But why?
22 million dollars in 3 fucking hours!
There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time. The real question is this: was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not.
Neither go towards the feeding grounds at the edge of the ice, nor return to the colony. Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. Dr. Ainley explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains. But why?
What's your dream? To go away.
To go away. That's great.
Do you guys want to drink? I don't understand why everybody has to be so judgmental. I understand why mom's judgmental. I think it's because she cares, partially. I think it's also partially because everyone else is looking at her like, hey, Cody's just a bum. Cody's this, Cody's that, Cody's this. Cody's me, bro. Let me be me.
GM. What up, boys?
GM was on mute. What's goody?
Chilling,
Monday.
another week.
Markets
Green?
are pumping. A little green action today. You know, what's up, boys? Chat. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Let's see here. I'm pulling all my stuff up. All right, man.
Yeah, dude.
I'm ready to get into it. I mean, how
nice.
you feeling? How you feeling, bro? You trust this pump or what?
I trust the pump, bro. You know me. I've been trying to go long from range. I was actually telling Josh the other day, like, we've been playing ping pong with this pretty well. I think you shorted the top. I've been calling for long since low, mid to low part of the Bitcoin range, and it's been playing out both sides really, really well. I want to continue slow grinding up. Maybe we reject a little bit, but I, unlike you, don't think we see new lows in Bitcoin. So I don't know. You want to start there? You want to start macro, and we can just get right into it?
Yeah, let's do it. I think I'll share my screen too. There's a ton to get through here, boys. But you know, like how we like to do here on MCG, we start top down. And I'm actually experimenting with a new kind of setup at home. So apologies in advance. Not new setup, but just
like new office?
Not new office, but I just kind of changed around a few things. And I'm actually going to try to upgrade the office here a little bit soon too. So, you know, just improve the setup here. But yeah, experimenting for now.
There you go.
But yeah, man. So here's the Bitcoin chart, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, this is like basically the thesis right now. You see the the kind of comparison that I'm drawing here. So we're kind of opposite views here at MCG right now. Dom thinks kind of continuation with the pump, and I'm kind of calling for here a little bit of a retrace to absolutely the low, but probably new lows. And let me show you guys a few tweets, a few things that I'm looking at chart wise. Honestly, we've been um but definitely want to cover with you guys today. Let me see. I gotta close out my terminals. These things just causing my
Yeah, let's say
setup to
you're lagging a
lag.
bit on my end. I'm
Perfect.
not sure if that's me or
Go to
you. So
bookmarks. Yeah, it's probably my end. How about now? I think I should be good.
you're straight.
I think I should be good. All right. So
Excuse me.
So here's a Bitcoin chart, as you can see. So here's what's developing right now. So the overall broader thesis is this. The broader thesis is, we had this kind of perceived peak, this perceived break of the top here, and then we, sent it again to break up for a new local high, and then we just nuked it all over again, right? That's what happened just about end of last year coming into this year. Now we've kind of built up the same sort of thing. Built up liquidity at the lows here, as you can see with the blue arrows. We peaked above the top of the range, and we didn't get a full peak, but we peaked a little bit. And that's what I wanted to kind of like zoom in a little bit and show you guys what's developing here on a lower time frame. What I'm seeing right now is an SFP on the 12-hour. SFP off on the 12-hour. So honestly, I'm about to go short. If this peaks back, I'll probably go short. Yeah, I'll go short this range. I might not even get too picky with the entry. Just real quick, let me just go to the hourly. Yeah, I might not even get too picky with this entry here. I'll just take the short, and ride this all the way down. But that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing, same kind of structure as before. We have yet to kind of range for a while. We have yet to make powerful moves off the low. It's just more so been this grindy price action. And I'm seeing a lot of people on CT get really bullish. So I always kind of view that as a signal. But one person that I highly respect on the timeline, and he's actually getting clowned for it right now, is Smiley Capital. So shout out the boy Smiley. But essentially what he does is what he says here is, he said exit all risk assets. And so he's calling for all risk assets to basically go go down, and he's getting clowned on the timeline for it. But here's some reasons kind of why I agree with him. We've covered this trader on the stream before, so shout out him. But basically he kind of draws a comparison to, here we go. So here's a comparison that he draws. It's basically a fractal going back to 2022 that kind of lines up with what the market is doing right now. I'm not going to go through the whole tweet. He basically kind of breaks down his own thesis about this, but this is the tweet here that I really wanted to cover with you guys. So out of the last 19 weekends, we've seen 10 out of the last 19, 10 of them have pumped on Sunday, 4 have dumped, and then 5 had no directional movement. And so right now what we're seeing is we markets have moved up on Sunday, and now going into Monday, we're pumping. And so, what do we expect? Well, from a probabilistic standpoint, we're probably going to go down. You know what I mean? We're probably going to go down, because as you can see, after all this price action, you see typically what we do after we kind of go up into Sunday. So that's what I'm seeing here. A little bit of a fake out. We've noticed this previously happening over the last 19 weekends. And so, probably that's exactly what we're going to do. And this is also really good context, right? It's all about market context. So the trend is bearish, the market is range bound, and the price is approaching range highs. So that's where I'm leaning, right? Like we're at we're at recent highs that we just got rejected from. And if we go back to the Bitcoin chart here, we literally haven't spent much time above this above the 71K call it level. Um, and so we haven't spent much time between February 5th. So for the last like month and a half almost, we haven't really spent much time above this range. So it's likely that we go down again, right? So that's what I'm looking at. And then again, we've covered this I believe last week, but I'll also share with you guys the dynamic liquidity heat map here. And as you can see, the POC, the point of control, the liquidity magnet is here at 57K. And so I expected a sweep of these highs because there was some liquidity built up here. In fact, some of that liquidity has been swept. There's some more liquidity built up at 74K ish area, like this area where you see my cursor at. So we built up some liquidity there. We swept it. And so, whether we go up to sweep, maybe 75.6, maybe I don't think we do, but the door is open to it for sure. But ultimately, I think whether we see 80K or, above this level, doesn't matter. I think even if we go up to here, I think we still go down and then we reverse, right? Like, I think we have to see this area here, this point of control, this magnet on the chart. I think we revisit that at some point. But
I don't think you ever explained the liquidity heat map you got going on here. Like, is the yellow supposedly where a lot of liquidity is sitting, or like what's purple, what's yellow, what's blue?
Yeah, so basically the heat map tracks like all of the. In fact, I can go through it with you guys a little bit, and because there's a report on this that's written. So about the script. So basically, as you can see here, this kind of like explains everything. But there's a lot of built up liquidity, as in there's long and there's leverage liquidations, there's limit orders, there's stops. So just a lot of like built up liquidity at levels, and that's what this tracks. So if you guys want to check it out, like this is the name of it, dynamic liquidity heat map. And you can go to the about this script section to kind of read more into it. But essentially, that's what marks off these levels. And so the more how can I say, the more the deeper the contrast, like the darker the color on this map, the more the liquidity is built up. And above in blue is the sell side liquidity, and then the there in purple is the buy side liquidity. So this POC here in orange, the point of control, the AKA the liquidity magnet, that is where the most liquidity is built up on the chart, period. And this one is for this dynamic liquidity heat map is for Bitcoin only. And then there's another one that I use for altcoins, but I don't use it as like a, be all tell all. It's more of like a point of confluence. If I see that, again, going back to this tweet here, if I see that in the market context that we're bearish, we're range bound, and we've been going down for 6-8 months, then I'm not going to fight the market. I'm like, okay, well, it's probably going to bounce. And in this scenario, I'm not saying we reach for 40K, 30K, like some people are calling. I don't even know if we make it to 50K, to be honest. My level here is 60K, and I believe we wick into this point of control, and then we see a reversal. So that's what, just within the market context, taking everything into consideration, I think that's what I'm seeing right now.
Yes, yeah, I've only ever seen the Bitcoin liquidity heat maps just through this lens over here, and I'll pull up my screen real quick. So it's pretty nice to actually have it on the chart so you can see it. But this is what we're all used to seeing. I think it's liquidity up top, liquidity below the range, and a map like this. But cool to see it on the chart like that.
Yeah, like some of the ones that are shown, like it's just too much. It's too much for me. So like I like this. It's very simple. It's very clean. So yeah, a couple setups that I'm looking at. ETH looks like everything looks like Bitcoin, right? Like Bitcoin has now broken out of like its like market structure. That red line that you see on the screen there is broken out of that market structure. So everything else has done the same. So ETH broken out of the market structure, as you can see there. Solana, same thing, broken out of the market structure, as you can see there. In fact, I think, you know, Solana is kind of a telltale sign of where we're going. I really loved Solana. But I think it might be time to I don't know. I'm in this. I'm not decided on what I'd like Solana to do here. I'd like to see
zoom out. Give me the Solana monthly or weekly.
Monthly. We're at a great level, you know, 0.786 bouncing. But I think the 3 days more gives us a lot more context. Like we are coming up again, we're pushing up against this multi-month downtrend. And again, I'm not going to fight the market if every time in the last 8 months it's rejected off the trend line. You know, I mean, I might not need to bet on it, as in I might not need to go, you know, take a short or long this area. But it's just from a probabilistic standpoint, it probably will go down like it did the others, right? But the chart does look strong though. The chart does look strong. I just don't know. I just don't know. I'm kind of undecided. Let me see where the so some liquidity above, some liquidity below. Okay. Yeah, I'm just not decided on Solana. But of all of the charts, like all of the high time frame charts that I look at, Solana to me looks the best. It's just I have to see if we break this downtrend or not. I'm not going to try to predict it. I'm not going to say I know the future. I'm just going to wait for price action to develop and then formulate a plan. What I would really like is a breakout and like a retest of the market structure, and then bang, and then, you know, try to target along in that area right there. That's what I would really love
Okay,
to
so you
do.
don't think Solana's going to go and take those lows? I think continue.
I'm undecided. That's why I want to see what price action does against the trend line. But yeah, ideally, I think Solana outperforms, because we covered this the other day. You look at Solana BTC, it tells you the exact story. So here's Solana BTC. Solana is set to outperform Bitcoin. We covered this, I believe, a week or two ago. But it's bounced off this key like monthly, and I've had this drawn up on this chart for a very long time. It's not even the cleanest looking chart at the end of the day, but it's bounced off a key zone here on the chart, and so it's telling me that, you know, Solana is about to outperform Bitcoin. So that's why I'm really confident in it going into this trend line, but I need to see it break first. I'm not going to make no predictions. I'm not going to jump ahead of anything. I'm just going to allow price action to develop before making any huge predictions.
Yeah, you know, the way I'm looking at these, I think is a little different. I feel like you're looking at daily, weekly time frame, shorter term. I'm looking at like cycle lows type of time frame. So it's like,
really,
if I'm starting to bid, yeah, absolutely. If I'm starting to bid Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, you know, like where would I start bidding? And like generally, what's my downside? And you look at something like Solana here, which is sitting at $93, down, you know, 60, 70. How far down from all-time highs are we at this point?
We're like 67, like 67% or something like that. Let me see. 68.
Jeez, yeah, so down 70% from all-time highs. We've seen wicks down to this range, kind of like a longer monthly time frame, like accumulation. It just feels like cycle lows are either here or pretty close. And so, like, frankly, if we fluctuate $20 on Solana, I don't really care, because it's one of those things. I'm not trying to time the exact bottom. I'm trying to build a position at these lows, with
Yeah.
ultimate targets being, you know, 500 plus. So if I'm getting an entry $20 higher or $20 lower, like, it's not the end of the world to me. It's, are we close to a cycle bottom? Are we closer to a cycle bottom or a cycle top? Well, in no world would you be closer to a cycle top at this level. And so I'm not short. And even if I was, again, short term, just to accumulate more inside this range, or maybe if we do get a little dip, but again, like, we're talking dollars here on a much larger scale. So I'm looking at this in terms of cycle. And I think from a 4-year
Yeah.
cycle perspective, we're getting close to the bottom. From a cycle perspective, not including the 4-year cycle, just including pullbacks and you know, money printing cycles, like we're getting close to a bottom. So again, I couldn't care less what happens over the next couple of weeks even months.
Yeah.
Like it's just accumulate every time we dip into this range or below. And I think you'll be good if you hold for, 2 years, right? So
Yeah, and I guess like you're a lot more of a long term trader than a long term focused with your mindset and your approach than I am. I guess I should preface this for the chat. Like, I'm looking at these levels like the daily as um I'm looking for longs, right? I'm looking for leverage setups. You know what I mean? But I'm not the type of person that like I'm gonna know every single move. And so what I want to do is I want to look for the moves that I know, look for the things that I know and that I can prepare and position for. So that's why, like, I'm looking at Solana when it changes momentum. I'm bullish on Solana long term. As Dom said, I have a similar mindset. I think these are like cycle lows. But what I would like to do is instead of whole spot Solana, I like to, trade a little leverage. You know what I mean? Juice it up a little bit,
play with the devil.
So what I like to do is I said I'm looking at this chart. It looks like we're about to break out of a month downtrend. So what I'd like to do is if it does break out, bang, I'm looking for a retest of this area. And that's where I'm gonna get long. And you trade these, you set your stops, you be responsible with your leverage and all that good stuff. And you'll be good to go. But yeah, that's but we got 15 minutes until our guest. I want to get to some juicy alpha, some sauce for you guys.
Bro, Pepe up 13.5%. No business
Yeah.
bouncing 13.5%, bro.
Yeah, no business. That's a free short.
Yeah, right.
I'm so freaking bearish. All right, hype looks good. Broke market structure. Like
Wow.
we're money. We're money. Shout out Josh. He's in the he flipped all his ETH
Hype long.
for hype down here at like $26. So
You want to
shout
compare
out
that
him.
against ETH chart real quick? Top right corner.
Yeah.
There? Yeah. Gotta search it.
Bang.
Yeah, I mean he's pushing
Jeez.
all-time highs on that.
Jeez, yeah. That's
Great
looking
pair
good.
trade.
Great outperformance there. And then lastly, we talked about this last week. ZEC. I told you guys it was kind of breaking out of the downtrend, or it's pushing up against the downtrend. So I'm kind of looking to see what it does. Honestly, I feel like Solana is in a similar position. So yeah, I do believe it'll break out, but I want to see it happen first. Same thing with ZEC. I don't want to like long the resistance. I want to long the breakout. Now that it's broken out, I'm actually gonna try to see if I can position on a pullback of some sort. So I'm looking for that. Those are the only two things. These charts that I watched a lot for, leverage plays, leverage setups. Tau is looking really freaking stupidly awesome. If you look at the weekly on Tau,
Looks so good.
it just broke out of this this massive downtrend it's been in.
I mean, Tau doesn't stay down long. Like, look at this
does
chart.
not,
it just
bro.
bounces.
It doesn't, bro. It doesn't. So actually, let me move that one up. That's probably Tau's been on my radar lately. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think Monad was up. A couple other stuff is doing well. But again, I'm bearish on Bitcoin here. Even on the weekly, you see that we're going into we're pushing up into the weekly FVG fair value gap. So a lot of bearish confluence here for a higher time frame. But I feel like this would lead to all of the generational entries. So yeah. Let's look at a few things before we get going here.
Your risk on signal there. Fartcoin's starting to go off a little bit though. 10.6 on the day.
I forgot to call that out. Yeah, it broke out of the downtrend. Let me cover that real quick. Yep. I'm glad you said that. It broke out of this downtrend and it's breaking this market structure. But I want to see something first. When I look at the 12-hour, let me see something here. I just want to get a sense of if this is going to be, nope, not going to be an FSP. Cool. Yeah, so Fartcoin looks really, really good. I've been waiting and watching just to make sure that this thing see when it's time to reverse, because this is another leverage setup, right? Like another leverage play that I want to make sure that I can get a hold of, because bro, I'm not gonna lie, I made 6 figures in 10 days and on leverage. I'm like, okay, I understand that you can blow up accounts and this and that, but like if you have good market, if you can identify good market context. You can identify assets that outperform, and you can manage risk using like stop losses and stuff like that. And you're not trading every move. You're just trading the moves you know. Bang. Like your money, bro. Like you're, at least from a probabilistic standpoint, you're getting more you're getting more upside on a lot of these trades. All right. So let's look at some look at some tickers, guys. Chat, if you guys have anything that you want us to check out, let us know in the comments.
We got to start with robot money, right? Got to start with robot money.
Yep. Got to start with robot money. So robot money actually bounced off of our zone that we our support that we marked out. Here it is, robot money.
One of the freest longs. I mean, you had so much time to bid this thing.
Yeah. It didn't quite come down to my buy zone, but like, and I didn't end up hitting the buy on this, but right here, when I drew this, like, look, when I was drawing this out, I was like, man, like, I don't know. It's 1.2 mil. I should just buy it because it's a little above the buy zone, but it's 1.2 mil. But for some reason, I didn't pull the trigger. But
and
as you can,
thesis on this one is building the infrastructure for autonomous investing, basically, right? Like autonomous venture capital.
Yep. So this is just a treasury management protocol. That's all it is. It's a treasury management protocol. So let me erase some of this stuff out off of here for you guys so we can like really take a clean look at this thing. But yeah, treasury management protocol. This was launched by the Juno agent. The Juno agent is actually working with the team there at working with the team at Robot Money, $4 billion fund. I mean, this is what Anti-Hunter was supposed to be. And for everybody that was bullish on Anti-Hunter when it first came out, should be bullish on this too.
So what happened to Anti-Hunter? For the context there, guys, that I forget the name of the VC, but that was like Jake Paul and Logan Paul's VC. They created Jeff, I think his name was, created the Anti-Hunter token, which is supposed to represent autonomous investing and like somewhat be backed by the VC that they're working with, Anti-Fund, which is the name of the VC. And it just failed, I guess.
Yeah, I think they pivoted. And that broke the thesis for me. Like they pivoted to something different, like outside of just the trading agent. Honestly, I've seen this tried time and time again. These trading agents, like get this agent to trade. I think treasury management is different because that's yield generation. That's a lot different. And your target audience isn't just crypto degens, it's actually like AI agents. So I think that's also something that's a lot different with this. But this is coming into an area of support. It's looking really well. But yeah, like I love the setup on Robot Money. In fact, I got to move that up later on. Another one, Botcoin, Bitcoin for AI agents, hasn't really tapped my buy zone yet, but it might, it could, but not honestly not sure if it will. But I think what I like about ETH base, these plays, like there's going to be, peaks and troughs, right? Like there's going to be highs and lows. As long as we're buying the lows, where even if it's above my buy zone, like as long as we're buying when the chart is selling off and not when it's pumping, I think we're in the clear. I'm not like, TA maxi where like, oh, it only has to be according to the TA. Like it's, hey, if it's at a mil and I think it can go to 100, I'm a buyer. You know what I mean? So yeah, but definitely wasn't going to buy up here. I'm really comfortable buying down here, but if we don't get it, I don't mind buying higher sometimes.
And narrative and thesis for that is, humans have Bitcoin. This is a Bitcoin for agents, assuming that they'll transact with this, use this. You have to have an agent to mine it, set up through the platform. That's kind of the thesis. Just giving you guys context here with these charts, so you're not bidding mindlessly.
Yeah, literally. So that's Botcoin. And some of these we've covered before. Which there's one. Let's check in on Bean real quick. Are we still bullish on Bean?
So Bean, this was the gambling site. They were making a ton of money, right? They were making a ton of money. I think they were the highest revenue generating platform on chain. One day, even beating out Hyperliquid. I guess since then it's probably fallen off a cliff. Where can we see that stuff? Is it Blockworks?
Maybe. Let me
see if I can find the numbers for them real quick. You can run through the TA. I'll try to see what I can find.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like chart looks dead to me. That's my base case. Not saying it can't come back. Definitely like the time to get interested in stuff is like when it's at its lows, not when it's at its highs, when it's searching for buyers and not sellers, right? Like up here in these areas, it's searching for sellers, right? Down here, searching for buyers. So I'd rather be buying the bottom, but at the end of the day, I don't want to buy something that's dead, right? So there's that's where the fundamental side of things come in. So interested to see what Dom finds like on numbers, but to me, my first reaction looking at this chart is it's dead. Like I thought this was like some sort of like Ponzi-ish type of thing. And I just assumed that it died. Like I didn't really like do the most digging on this. But
I think you're right. Ponzi ran it up and Ponzi ended. They come and go. That's how Ponzi's work. I couldn't find the numbers on Blockworks. I'm going to see if I can find something on Twitter real quick.
Okay.
Being here. Sorry, I'll let you keep going. I think you're right, though. Ponzi ran out.
Yeah. Well, if you find something, let me know. We got 5 minutes to the segment. So let me jump through real quick. Nook. Man, Nook is just accumulating, man. It's tapped our buy zone a couple times. Honestly, I bought like down here because I was initially a buyer like somewhere here. I forget exactly where, but my average is like just under 2 mil. It's like 1.7, something like that. But I was buying down here a lot. But yeah, man, Nook is just ranging, accumulating, and it looks like when this breaks out, I think it'll be very, very meaningful. And for context, we covered Nook last week. We interviewed them. I wrote, several write-ups as well, so we can always run through that again. But
that's a good looking chart, though. Good range.
Looks really good. Looks really good. Even if you just take everything away, put an 8 hour on it, man, that thing looks ready. One thing I want to get to.
I got some bean stats if we want to jump back to that for a second.
Yeah. Let's take a look.
I got so these are the bean stats, and again, just a random Twitter account. I'm just trying to grab something for you guys here. But I think he put a pretty good point together here. Bean update, same price holder data 10 days apart, shows that all holders holding 1K plus USD worth of token have dropped. Now, obviously, this is an exaggeration. Only retail is accumulating a stake in my bean. It's never a good sign when all the bigger holders are queuing towards the exit line. So what's one being currently fair valued at? Current daily revenue is $31,500. Current daily revenue is $31,500. What is the price chart?
Oh, shoot. There was, Keep going.
Okay. $31,500 daily revenue. Current daily inflation is 51.8 thousand USD. It's $20,000 deficit. One bean current fair value is at 21 USD. With it trading at $37 per token, means that it's decoupled from the platform and retail is speculating on more gamblers showing up on the casino table. So fair value is actually lower. This bet right here is, and again, according to this guy, the bet here, the only reason it's at $33 is because people seem to believe there's going to be a resurgence and they're front running the resurgence. So, I think we got it right with the Ponzi here. Ponzi gone.
Yeah. Real quick, Daddy Duster on here was like, what's the latest on Bean? Their recent posts seem interesting. Still down 80% plus from all-time high. They're still generating a decent bit of revenue, 30K in the last 24 hours, according to DeFi Llama. He was curious if we were still tracking it. So there you have it, buddy.
I didn't even look on DeFi Llama. I guess I should check that.
Yeah.
DeFi Llama.
Greetings, a king's mentality. Man, I look forward to the greetings. I look forward to the greetings every stream, bro. What's up, bro? Crypto Jones. Nook looks like a good chart for DLMM. Yeah, absolutely. It definitely does.
It was on
we talked a lot about DLMMing last week. This Friday we'll have some DLMMing, some DLMM traders coming on as well. we have the stream. We have the next segment coming up. I want to go through a few other setups with you guys, but I had to kind of like rush through some of these, and I want to really spend some time, like, looking at some of these plays and sharing like full thesis and breaking them down fully versus just kind of running through. But yeah, go ahead, Dom.
Nope. I mean, here's just a continuation on the bean. We had all-time highs of 416,000 in fees. There was 2.91 million stake. Now we're at 481,000 stake and 33,000 in fees. So significantly down. Although, over the weekend it was slower. It seems to be upticking again today, a little bit. This is for March 16th. Yeah. So we've already started kind of hot, I guess. But I don't know. There's the bean chart. We've covered this enough, I think.
Yeah. Last thing I'll get to is the homie. The homie. What the dog doing?
What the dog doing?
Saying what the dog doing. No, look, dude, this meme has spent a lot of time in the buy zone. I accumulated down here, brought my average down a little bit because I kind of initially bought like I think it was this area. It's a little higher. So as it dipped deeper into the buy zone, I went ahead and bought a little bit more. So yeah, it's starting to leave our buy zone and explore higher prices. I'm actually loving this. I'm loving the meme. I'm loving the community. I'm loving the engagement that I'm seeing on it. So, and I can cover some of that. I can cover some of that a little bit more. But again, we have our next segment. So let's go ahead and pull up. All
right, let's do it.
Let's go ahead and pull up our guest.
We got the UMI team here. I'm gonna swap screens real quick, and we'll get our guys up here. Hey, boys, how are we doing?
Good, you?
Hello. Doing pretty good over here.
Yeah, we're excited to learn a bit more about what you're doing, discovering quantum tokens. Not even sure what that means off the jump, so we're excited to get you guys here to explain it to us today. But real quick, so it's oxytocin. Is that how you would pronounce it? Oxytocin.
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 Very nerdy background. Used to be a neuroscientist, and I was like, okay, I really need something that starts with a 0x. I don't know, neurotransmitters.
I love that.
Flashbacks to a science class.
And so, yeah, I guess what we can start off is just background a little bit. Welcome to the stream. Kind of introduce yourselves to the chat, the audience. Let us know who you are and how you're associated with the project.
I'm nice to meet you all. I'm Francisco. I'm one of the co-founders here at UMIA and Chainbound. Chainbound is a laboratory. We do a lot of research and development across the whole Ethereum ecosystems. And with UMIA instead, it's an incubated project from Chainbound where we are striving and trying to build really a new way of capital formation on chain that is custom and tailor-made for agentic ventures that are led by humans but executed by agents. We're doing that with a full stack solution. We go from the capital formation to the legal structure to the how governance with decision markets, which we can touch on later, works. And I think it's really innovation, and it's cool to do it with a great team.
Okay, Oxytocin, maybe give us a quick TLDR on your background.
Yeah, I guess I already gave a teaser, but used to be big nerd, neuroscientist, but I got sold on a promise that like by being in academia, you'll be able to actually be on the innovative side. That was a big fat lie. So while I was working there, I started like looking into crypto because I have a background, like I'm actually Venezuelan. So for me, like finding more about money was a bit of a no-brainer, like what crypto was bringing on the table, these kind of alternative systems of DeFi. So started like really going full-time around 2021. And ever since then, been like fully crypto native, delegating for DAOs, like doing research on DeFi. Now, at Jandumia, to be honest, I haven't been this excited about a project in years. I already gave a teaser, but basically the way that I see it, having worked so long in this kind of ecosystem, I feel there's fundamental flaws in the way that we're both fundraising and doing like the crowdfunding of projects and the way we're running them. And what's being made in UMIA is really exciting, both for the funder side and the projects that are being run.
So my first question out the gate here is: you guys have chosen Ethereum as maybe your core platform here, or core chain, I guess. Why choose ETH over Solana? What led you to that decision?
Yeah, so the Ethereum ecosystem, no, actually, let me start with one thing. We are a pretty data-driven team. Again, we come from a laboratory of Chainmon. And yeah, Ethereum could be, doesn't, it has more of a less retail and hype-oriented sort of crowd, but it's a crowd that's been steadily growing and steadily pushing a lot of like the metrics that are behind this chain. You can look at the from TVL or the actual real activity and the stable coin deposits and so on is that 10x larger than any other ecosystem. So again, from opportunistic maximization function, I truly believe Ethereum is the best ecosystem. And also, we want to be something for the next 10 years. Like, again, we are targeting agentic ventures, so something that's really, really new and something that could really change the world. And so we want to be on a ledger that we can we know it's gonna be here and it's gonna be something that we can yeah, we can see the ecosystem around it growing more and more. I don't have anything against Solana. That's also the other thing. I just believe from my analysis, it's better Ethereum right now for us. But yeah, that was the decision. And again, I think Solana is also doing great. It's just a different type of crowd.
Something else I would add, Ethereum people also on a culture level are much, they're very idealistic. They're very based on like the things that they want to believe in. They're the kind of like, I guess it's the big debate that tends to happen on the Solana versus Ethereum debate, which is like how much centralization versus good user experience. And ETH guys are crazy about this. I believe that like what we're building with Umia is also very aligned with what Ethereans are looking for. So there's a lot of a product market fit when it comes to the community.
Could you explain to me in what ways Umia is more aligned with Ethereum, maybe?
Yeah, gladly. So basically, the way that we thought about designing Umia was right now we have projects that whenever you want to be running basically a venture, or you want to be like making some kind of like crowdfunding, you always have to be relying on an off-chain element. You have to be like, for example, I don't know, you want to launch a new token, you're gonna have like a weird like labs on one side, you want to have the foundation on the other, then you want to have the DAO on yet another one, and you have like this super complicated setup that like at the end the decisions are not made on Ethereum. However, if we go with Umia, like we designed everything from the ground up to be on chain. So kind of what we're sharing on the screen right now, we have like the legal setup is actually a special first setup that ultimately makes decisions on chain. We don't make just traditional DAO voting. We open what we call decision markets, which makes it that you're able to decide each of the decisions that are going on and actually be able to price them and be able to actually see how much each one of them is worth. So as opposed to the kind of like backward system right now, where you first make a project and then you try to think, okay, how do we make the token fit? Which is like one of the big questions. What's the point of tokens right now? Why don't we just make equity? Why don't we just like make something off chain? Here with Umia, you actually have everything going to the on-chain side, from decision making to the treasury control to basically running the whole show on-chain first. And that's yeah, I feel that's something that Ethereum needs right now. Tokens that actually have value and actually give the community a say in the future of the project.
Okay, interesting. I want to ask you guys how you stack up ownership versus equity. You know, we're seeing this experiment kind of done on Solana right now, where you have some platforms that are doing like pseudo equity or their workarounds for equity until clarity is better, legal clarity that is. And then you also see the ownership models. We got a few of those on Solana as well. Seems like there are some flaws in it, where there are also some very, very compelling sides to it. How are you guys looking at ownership versus equity for Umia?
Yeah, so you, in my opinion, the best sort of setup here is a setup in which you look at tokens not as an alternative to equity, but you look at token as a programmable value accrual tool, mechanism, however you want to call it, that has very unique characteristic to equity. The first one is the programmability that they give with what Oxytocin said about decision markets and so on. Again, with equity, you could not really do that, but with a token you can, and so on. So the first and most important part is with Umia, we're not trying to reinvent equity on chain. We're trying to build a new financial primitive on chain, which is the quantum tokens. The second thing is we now have something where instead of having value accruing to equity and token have two legal sort of settlements, so on, we provide a framework that has this extension also on a jurisdiction and legal side, which is great because now if you want to launch a token, you have something out of the box that allows you to know that the value accrual goes directly to the token holders. And how it does it, it doesn't do it with red tape or anything that wouldn't sort of work in the current jurisdictional setup, but rather a mechanism designed, the decision market, that always maximizes the token holder welfare. What does it mean? It means just that because there are decision markets, the token holders will always trade for the decision that makes them the most amount of money. Hence, the tokens will be the token will retain maximum value of it. So that's a bit how we see it. And speaking also with users and project, that's also what they really like about this type of setup.
And I know there are some other aspects to this that we have to dive into more deeply, but a question I had for you was, um, do you feel like pursuing this like pseudo equity is a step backwards? Or because I noticed you said you want to create like a new primitive. You want to create something totally new. So do you feel like by trying to include equity, is that moving backwards in your mind?
I'm gonna drop a hot take here. I feel that the crypto ecosystem tends to like really look up when it comes to equity because it's kind of like it's the thing that people trade on the big boys table. Everyone is like, okay, we should be going to equity. Tokens didn't really work out, so we should try to be going towards this kind of like pseudo equity model. It's something that we've seen right now on the Ethereum ecosystem with Across, and it's something that a lot of people are talking right now. But the truth is, what I was talking about before is that there are things on equity that you still cannot get, even if you try to go with this kind of setup. Like, let's say that you're a traditional equity company, you manage to make everything on a traditional finance kind of system, and you want to be making a decision. Should we be opening, I don't know, an office in Europe or in APAC? There's no easy way, if you're making a traditional equity board vote, to actually know which one is going to be more valuable than the other. You're going to have traditional equity politics. You're going to have board members that are going to be like telling you go one way, go another. But you don't really have a way of saying like this decision is going to be X% more valuable than this decision. And that's something that is only possible with decision markets. Being able to actually price how a decision is going to be happening before it's actually executed is something that equity simply wouldn't be able to do. And we should be striving to be doing things like this. And that's just like scratching the tip of the iceberg, like being able to programmatically manage the treasury, being able to actually have controls on chain for people to be accessing and then determining things with decision markets. Let's say, for example, like you want to be having an agentic setup. You want to be having agents that are going to be like managing part of your treasury to be doing, I don't know, a new campaign, be doing like kind of a new product. On an equity setup, how are you going to be doing that? Everything is in a bank account. Everything is off chain. You're going to need somebody to be doing the wrapper, to be interacting with the agent, doing all these complicated things. While going with something like Umia, you make the decision market, and then it automatically gets pushed on chain. So you're able to fully integrate it with agents. You're able to finally be able to have a say for the agents on how they should be running things. So long story short, answer your question, I feel that it's not like pseudo equity. Like we really need to stop thinking that like equity is the holy grail that we should be striving for. We're unlocking things that equity wishes they could have. We're able to give people like a real pricing of decisions. We're able to give agentic executors and operators something direct, as opposed to what we're seeing right now with other setups on traditional finance.
So what in your opinion, with that in mind, then what unlocks like broader, like non-crypto native capital? I mean, at the end of the day, you know, if we're creating a new primitive, there needs to be some sort of like adoption. There's a process
Yeah.
to that
Totally.
leads to greater adoption. What does that process look like to you guys?
Yeah. So the first thing is you need to build a system in which whatever financial primitive the investor buys and holds has real accountability on the future success of the project. Very
Mhm.
simple to say, whatever token you buy related to a given project, if the project does well, you should expect the token to do well. When you do it with a stock, when you buy a stock of whatever tech company, you have very strong assurances that if the tech company does well, the token is going to do well. Because again, there is the whole setup is built in hundreds of years. In crypto, we're a bit earlier in that, and we are improving. The first thing is that so you need a token that has strong enforcement to the not enforcement is the wrong word. It has strong value accrual to the project itself, protocol project, whatever it is itself. Already that a rationally capable investor will look at token a different way, because you will have a lot of on-chain businesses, you will have a lot of businesses, even a lot on-chain, but just they want to launch a token because they're early on, a lot of agentic businesses and ventures, they launch a token early on to attract the first 100 users and give them shared ownership. Like that's an example, right? But then if you have enforceability in the fact that that token actually is going to have welfare, then people are going to come. So that's like economically rational behavior is going to be expected if we are able to have real value accrued to token. So I'd say that's the most important thing. There are many others, but that's the first one, because again, economic flows, economic connections is what make any financial primitive work. It could be credit, it could be equity. In our case, it's cryptos.
Got you. And
Interesting.
when you think about this, and we've seen this happen on some Solana decision market platforms, it sometimes seems like the people will invest or raise for a token, and then after just a month or a very short period of time, they'll actually vote to liquidate the treasury because maybe it's not happening or moving as fast as expected. We know businesses take time, and sometimes even the consumers don't really know exactly what it is they want. How do you guys kind of counteract maybe a project getting funding and then being shut down within a month via votes because it's not moving fast enough?
Yeah. So I know the case you're talking about. I think there is a good point and a point of improvement. The good point is the liquidation of a highly not speculative, of a highly risk investment. The ability to liquidate a high risk investment is great. Not for that specific case. In general, I mean the primitive of being able to liquidate a venture investment like that. Why? Because it allows investor to experiment and invest in things they wouldn't before because of risk aversion, because of things that they would be like, well, we give money to someone, we don't even know if they're gonna come back. That's the first thing. On the second part is the whole part of decision markets, of having decision market managing treasuries and so on, is a technological leap coupled with an extremely interesting social experiment into the capital formation world. Now, what we need to do as Umia is play with the rules and play with the setup that best accommodates the best founders and project whilst preserving the rights of the investors. So in the case that there was this liquidation, in my opinion, with probably better safeguards, better KPIs to liquidation thresholds, better setups, probably would have not happened. But on the other side, again, is a success that we can liquidate a project if it's not deemed successful. Not in this specific case, but in general, because again, some speculators, some investors be like, yeah, I like the idea. If it makes sense, great. But if really is not going anywhere after years, I'm better off liquidating, and everyone is better off liquidating.
Yeah. So you would even say, like, that's basically just the decision market's working. The only thing you would say is maybe more measurable KPIs that allow for safeguards for liquidations that maybe are uncalled for.
Exactly.
Got you. Okay, talk to us a little bit about pipeline. I know one thing we see with these launch pads is there's so many launch pads spinning up, and it almost always comes down to, do you have good projects, quality projects that are going to come through your pipeline? Talk to us a little bit about how you guys are building out that pipeline and how you're going to make sure you have solid projects flowing through.
Yeah,
gladly.
so
I can go real quick. Obviously, I don't want to be spoiling the party for some of the projects that are going to be launching, but what I can definitely say is we are trying to target like different areas that people are interested in on the on-chain markets. We have everything from a pretty promising GameFi project right now that's going to be launching with us, to an AI coordination system, to even like UMIA itself. We want to be proving that this kind of system works. So the protocol is also going to be going through the platform to basically coordinate the protocol through decision markets and through the quantum work structure. The idea in terms of timelines right now is around Q2, give or take. But yeah, in my opinion, what matters the most is to be able to first habilitate the platform and then be able to provide this to everyone. Because once the product is live, we'll be able to see what kind of tokens want to be launched. Farah, I don't know if you have any other aces up your sleeve.
No, I think it was all. There is again, we have a strong pipeline, and yeah, I think we want UMIA to sort of succeed by itself, and we want to give ownership to our community. That's why the UMIA token is actually going to be the first the first quantum token into this verse, and it's going to be very interesting to see the development. Yeah.
So you mentioned UMIA being a first token into this ecosystem. Makes a lot of sense. You want to prove out the product. We've also seen launching your own token giving the ecosystem sort of the ceiling, right? A lot of the projects can't get past the actual ecosystem token. How have you guys thought about that when launching UMIA, and why will that maybe not be an issue for you guys?
I think for the setup, no, rather than the setup, I would say more of the value proposition of what we want to build, that is enable agentic capital formation for agentic ventures, enable a new way of governance, and so on. Having the whole value accrual and our own sort of token allows for people to truly understand these new primitives that come to the market. So if we would be doing other type of protocols and products, probably it wouldn't be the best way to go about it. But here we need to sort of have our product the way for full value accrual, but on top also the way to market and experiment with the development of the platform itself. So again, the launch of the token is just going to be the start.
And I'm going to walk it back a little bit back to kind of BD and pipeline here. You talked about the initial pipeline you have. How are you guys continuing to grow that pipeline? I know you guys said there's a lot of academia involved in your backgrounds. Are you guys talking to startups coming out of some of these big universities? Do you have like scout programs at some of these universities? I don't know. What's your business development looking like in terms of continuously keeping that pipeline filled?
Yeah, so the positioning here versus project is very interesting. We're gonna have a lot of updates on it very soon. We want to sort of finalize the full development of the platform, and then we're gonna be more public. I hope that your community will find this very useful and interesting as we aim to target a very specific type of ambitious and potentially successful type of projects.
Checks out.
I was going to add something like real quick as well, which is this kind of UMIA crowdfunding setup, like in current market conditions, becomes extremely necessary for many early stage projects. We are talking on the pipeline not only from kind of incubators and academic researchers, but also people that have already been experienced in the blockchain space for a while that want to be launching a new project, because we're not in a bull market anymore. We have to admit this. And that means that if you want to be really making a splash, if you want to be giving your community confidence, you need to find other ways of reassuring people that your token is going to have actual value, and that they will be able to have a say, and your community is going to be able to say the way that the product should be going. When it comes to, you brought up already like the crowdfunding seeding potential, being able to give this kind of like on-chain reassurances, saying like, I have a great idea, but everything that I'm going to be able to crowdfund is going to be behind a smart contract determined at decision markets. That is already attracting a lot of people reaching out to us, asking to go through Umia, because there's a lot of great ideas right now. There's many people that want to be building on chain, that if you just push an idea and do a simple ICO, or if you just push your idea on a traditional setup, you will not be able to get as much potential capital as through Umia. So yes, we are doing our reach ourselves, but I feel that especially with the way that the market is right now, we are getting a lot of projects that want to be reassured about it through the on-chain treasuries.
So would you say that most of these are non-crypto native?
Honestly, we're getting like a split 50-50. I'd say on one side, fully crypto native projects, which are the ones that are obviously familiar with the whole appeal of an on-chain decentralized treasury and the ability of like being able to make everything on chain. But on the other side, projects that are trying to appeal to crypto adjacent kind of ecosystems. Lots of AI, neobank, a bit of TradFi going on the pipeline right now. Projects that perhaps they are on the cutting edge, they require scaling real quick, but they are not able to go through, they want to have a community from day one. It's just B2C.
Got it. So we actually have a great community question here from Crypto Jones. So he asks, how will the Umia token accrue value? I think we kind of talked a little bit about this before, but you can feel free to expand.
Business economics on that too.
Yeah. So how it's going to accrue value is very simple. From activity of the Umia protocol, and activity is defined as volumes on decision markets and volumes across the Umia tokens, spot markets. That's the economics. And then in terms of like the details and so on, as soon as we get closer to launch, we're gonna be public about it, and everyone, again, if you follow Umia_finance, you're gonna see that.
Got it.
It seems like you guys are doing a more of a curated approach rather than a democratized launchpad here. How are you guys thinking about that?
Correct. That's something that we're very excited about, which is being able to actually tailor the initial token launch to the community that has believed the most in the Umia project. One of the things that we're really playing around with right now has to do with zero knowledge proofs and the ability of proving that somebody has done something without doxing them, which I think when it comes to actually participating on chain is one of the age-old problems. Like, I'm sure that in the past, everyone has this problem of like, you've been very active on like a Discord community or a Twitter community, but you don't want to be associating your account with your wallets. Up until now, you had to be making this kind of connection. You had to be like, okay, give me your Twitter account, give me all the accounts that you have that are on chain, give me, I don't know, your social security number, and then we're going to be able to give you your location, how much you want to be participating. And here we are actually working on a system where we're able to certify these things. You're able to certify that you're part of the community, and then give a proof without associating it with the on-chain wallet address. The technical name is the KTLS, but what we are able to unlock with this is we're planning on having a community round that's going to have an earlier valuation, like being able to participate in the ICO before the public round without doxing yourself. So for example, being able to participate on the Twitter community, being able to talk about the project. Obviously, further details are going to be closer to the actual launch, But that's one of the things that we really want to be pushing across, because it's one of the problems that we always see whenever you're trying to have like this on-chain crowdfunding. You have like oversubscribed participation, you have like sniping, you have the kind of doxing. These are all things that we're trying to address with what we call the customized clearing auction model, combined with the zero knowledge proof that you are who you are without having to dox yourself. And that's also part of the reason why these kind of like crypto adjacent projects are excited to work with us, because we're not just talking about like on-chain proofs here. We've been playing around a bit with the kind of things that you can prove with our system, and it's anything from like, do you have air miles on a particular airline? Do you travel a lot? Do you have a particular account? If you're trying to make like a gaming project, what's your Steam score? What's your League of Legends rank? These kind of things, we're able to prove it and then say, okay, this guy, only diamonds are able to get on a round, otherwise get away scrub.
Got it. So I guess, so we're coming up here on, towards the end of the segment. So it's been a fascinating conversation so far. So we really appreciate you guys joining us today. But just two quick questions before we officially close. The first is the type of raise. Is it like bonding curve, flat raise? I saw you mention like some mechanics about allowing the community to like get into an ICO. So talk to us a little bit about those mechanics.
So our fundraising mechanism is built on top of Uniswap CCA, continuous clearing auction, with permissioning and setups that Oxytocin talked about. It's gonna have a monotonically increasing price, and we're gonna give project the ability to tailor a discounted price to the niche that they want. That's mostly how it's gonna work, and it's gonna be very simple for people to join, and yeah, it's also very unique in the sense of how it works.
So without overcomplicating it, basically we have a certain amount of tokens allocated within specific buckets. And what happens if you participate earlier in the auction, you have a guaranteed lower price compared to everyone else. However, your bid is spread out across all the buckets. This makes it so you're always going to have at least some of the allocation available throughout the auction, as opposed to everything being oversold like within the 30 seconds of the auction going live, while giving an incentive for the participants to be bidding. This is different compared to like what we see before of like traditional bonding curve systems, where maybe after a while there's no incentive in actually participating, or you get like everyone rushing in at once and then interest kind of dying out. Here we get kind of like an organic price discovery while giving a guarantee for early participants of getting like beneficial conditions.
Got it. Last question from me is just around, there's a supply and demand, right? You guys have the supply side with launching tokens. The demand side comes from your community, and that's growing. But from the demand side, are you seeing any interest from VCs or other capital allocators?
Yeah, it's our job as curator and developers of the Umia platform to build strong relationship and to expose and explain the uniqueness of quantum tokens to capital allocators, liquid funds, family offices, and anyone that's interested in this. And we are doing it. We're seeing there is a lot of interest, and it's mainly driven by the fact that all of these people just want to find a way to allocate to tokens that actually have real value. And here they know they have real value because of the whole structure that is behind it, assuming again that the business itself has growth and so on. So yeah, that's mostly it. We're seeing really strong interest on that side. Something that really impressed me in particular, given market is not great, I was impressed to see how much interest is in this.
Yeah, and I would love to touch on that Chainbound relationship too here as we wrap up. How did you guys get in contact with Chainbound? What does that relationship actually look like?
Yeah, I'm the founder of Chainbound, so that's how we got in contact. And Chainbound is a laboratory. We do extensive work on the on a lot of stuff related to the infrastructural part of Ethereum. That is from, for example, the networking stack of Flashbot builder nets. We worked on project across many other ecosystems and also some applications. And Umia comes as a result of seeing a big problem in our industry, which is capital formation and how we can solve it. And yeah, Umia is fully incubated by Chainbound, and soon it's going to be instead mostly owned by its community. And yeah, that's mainly it.
Wow.
I would also add,
please.
no, something very important about being incubated as opposed to being a first-time project. First of all, the ability of having people that already are knowledgeable on the space and already established, as opposed to having to build from scratch, is already a very important thing. But additionally, this is something that doesn't just come out of nowhere. It's not just like we have an idea, let's try it out. This is an issue that we've seen people bring up again and again. We see that the technical side is there, it's ready. Like we have blockchains that are doing the job, and the problem always falls into like value and coordination. We've seen DAOs fail over and over. Like it's felt kind of prophetic, to be honest, because when we started building Umia in stealth, it was a bit of a gamble. We were like, we feel that this is something that people need. And then one by one, we see like big DAOs like either centralizing, turning to equity, shutting down, because that's what we've seen in the space. We've seen that like right now there's an issue where tokens do not really accrue value and decisions cannot really be made on chain. And now that we're getting ready to launch, this kind of experience is being pushed first. And being able to have a tech first approach is also something extremely important when it comes to actually designing the protocol. An idea is not just enough when it comes to blockchain systems. You need to understand how Ethereum works. You need to understand what's the most efficient way of doing these kind of bids and make the decision markets actually work. Otherwise, you can have the best idea ever, but it's not really going to be taking off. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Then I'll just we'll leave it at this. You guys are pioneering a interesting new model. It's something that not a lot of people are used to. How are you planning to really convert traders and investors over to this new model that's kind of new? It's a blue ocean. You can't just say equity and they know what you're talking about. You have to kind of do some explaining and some education here. What's the process that looks like for you guys?
We're building a very strong support on the ecosystem. We're talking a lot with people in the industry and refining the product however is useful for them. We're speaking a lot on the demand side, explaining like how this value accrual actually going to happen to them and why they should keep a look at like this type of new financial primitive. And on the project side, we're doing again a very similar work. The end goal is again to find the unlock that allows the masses and everyone both in our industry and Web 2 and in the agentic world and so on to be driven into launching a company with minimal friction and have shared ownership and have a real advantage to their competitors.
Got it.
All right. Fra,
it's been a great chat. Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on. We're excited to watch you guys pioneer this, especially on Ethereum. We're seeing some early experiments on Solana, and now you guys are taking this to Ethereum in a new way with a new twist. So we'll be watching you guys, excited to hear more from you and hopefully have some of the upcoming launches come on the show and maybe talk about their experience. So we appreciate you guys a lot.
Thank you.
It's been great having you, talking with you. Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks, guys. Looking forward to it. Hopefully we can get you guys back on as you start like building out and getting closer to token launches and all those good things. So looking forward to those updates and developments. Loved having you guys on the show. Looking forward to next time.
Hey.
Yeah, me too.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right.
Interesting. That's a twist on the as far as like launches go. That's I'm gonna go and like rewatch the segment. Because there's some parts I want to kind of pick apart a little bit. But I think we asked a lot of really good questions. We got a lot out of the team. So I like what I'm seeing so far. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah, look, we haven't really seen something like this on Ethereum yet, as far as I'm aware. And
Yeah.
you know, it comes down to pipeline. You can have the best mechanisms in places, but if no one's launching using those mechanisms, you don't have anything, right? But it seems like they've thought it out. They seem like smart guys, and we'll see what they can do. I'm just gonna be watching their account, I guess, looking forward to whatever comes out of it. That's gonna be the big question. So good conversation. I think like, we've had a lot of conversations with up and coming launchpads and launchpads in general, with established launchpads, new launchpads with new primitives, you know, I mean, the spectrum is far and wide here. And I think it always comes down to pipeline. It really has, like, in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll be watching. I'll be watching. Like you said, it's all about pipeline launches that attracts, ultimately price attracts attention. Attention, you know, leads to adoption. Adoption leads to everything else. But speaking of attention, I wanted to share my screen and Jesus.
Got you. Have you seen Clued?
Yeah, I saw it, but I
Dude,
didn't
we gotta
realize
cover
it was,
this.
dude. All right. Let's cover Clued.
I'll let you rip through. Yeah, I'll let you rip through what the dog doing real quick first, because he's doing something.
So I wanted to share this video beforehand, but we didn't have time. But check this video out, guys.
I mean, it's a great video.
It's crazy.
Oh,
Nice
dude,
little-
he's
nice
holding
little
he's holding a kitchen knife there. That's
Yeah,
a kitchen
literally.
knife.
Yeah, dude.
I got one of
So-
those big Cutcos in my kitchen.
So this is like a cat page. I think it's a non-crypto page. The views on this, almost 1.1 million views
Damn.
on this video. And it just so happens, we were just talking about attention. You know, it's kind of starting to tick up here. The dog's doing something. You know what I mean? The dog's doing something. So yeah, that was that's a big dub right there so far. But I think this goes, you know, high. I'm looking for like new all-time highs.
It's kind of rare you find memes that continuously uptick in terms of attention. I mean, that's what these are. It's like it's an attention play. Once they typically go sideways for a while, it almost always fizzles out. This is starting to curl again.
Yep.
Like, how do you foresee this continuing to grow in terms of attention?
So I actually talked a little bit about this on a tweet that I posted earlier, and I'll just pull that tweet up real quick so I can really help and really explain this to you guys. So basically, this meme survived an 85% drawdown. It survived multiple PvP vamp attempts. It's been consolidating for over a week. Most of CT is like completely sidelined on this. Not many people are talking about this for real. The posts get a ton of engagement as far as like the meme is concerned. But I mean, just look at this. I posted this just yesterday. I mean, this got almost 10,000 views, but the engagement is really nice on it. The community seems to be forming organically. Like there isn't this like farming pump and dump. Like it just doesn't seem like anyone is really like farming this or bundling it or anything like that. Like this token was dead like for a little while, as you can see on this chart here, and I'll pull it up. This token was dead. Like it came out, and we can zoom in a little bit to the it came out and it just kind of like fizzled out, you know, pumped.
Dog wasn't doing much for a little while.
Wasn't doing much for a little until it just got traction like one random day, and it just went from there. But what I really like about it is you can look at charts when you've been staring at charts for a really long time, like I have. You know when something's getting farmed. You know when you know something is getting when something is getting sort of crimed up, or there's bundle or whatever. You can see it. It shows on the chart. This chart looks so great. It looks organic, and for me, I like that it's coming off of an 85% drawdowns. Every successful meme coin has had multiple, you know, multiple crazy drawdowns. That's what happens. So yeah. You know, so let's talk a little bit about the DLMM setup. I'm about to just call it DLM, the DLM setup. Yeah, but if I was DLM DLMMing this chart, like we already saw that this was our buy zone, right? Like our buy zone was all the way down here below 2 mil. And so if I'm DLMMing this and I'm a believer in this token, like I'm setting my DLM. I'm probably starting my like a small stack here. The thing is, you have to set a range of where you want to LP, where you want to provide liquidity and ultimately earn fees. So if you want to earn fees on the way up, I would basically like start really small down here. I wouldn't even set a ton of bids down here, but I'd start really, really small bids and just kind of spread them out a little bit. Right. And then as I get like into new all-time highs, that's when I start to kind of get some bigger DCAs in there, DCA outs. And then as I get to like, price discovery, like now I'm like scaling fully out. And then, but excuse me, but I'm earning fees all the way from down here, right? Like my fee earning starts here, and then I just enjoy the price action, bang, 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 and like all my limits, all my limits get hit. But ultimately, that's how like DLMMing can juice your returns. You can accumulate a token at the lows, and then you set your DLMMing to DCA out, and then you can earn fees on top of that. So yeah, that's a little bit of the setup there, and that juices your returns. And as you can see, last week
you're
we
starting to
talked
lag
little
a bit on my end, so I'm
DL
not sure if it's me or
oopsie
there you go.
daisy. Yeah. But yeah, so that's there you go. That's we talked a little bit about DLMMing last week on stream. So for those who are still kind of tapped in, I'll be recording another session there with Crime to learn a little bit more about DLMMing. Some of the sessions that we did together are dropping soon as well. So yeah, DLMMing, you can really maximize your gains. So I'm committed to learning the skill, because I don't know if you guys saw, but some people they've hit like 30x like
Stupid.
off. I mean, like
Stupid.
stupid. It's liquidity provision, bro. Everything to trade all these things, you need liquidity. And I'll also say that I am a believer that like crypto has lost its luster, because altcoins don't go up 100,000x anymore like they did in 2021. I think those days are coming back, but for the time being, we have so many launch pads in the space pushing out so many tokens. The liquidity is so fragmented. So I think to make up for the lack in price discovery, you can DLMM to kind of boost your gains. And that's why that's why I'm learning this skill in the first place. So yeah, love it.
Can we give Clued a look? CLUDE.
Let's let's take a look at Clued. Actually, I had the chart,
and I'm interested. Like, this is going crazy, but I feel like, and I haven't dug into it. Like, I'm sideliner here, but I feel like we've seen attempts at this in the past. And when I say this, I mean it's persistent memory that learns, consolidates, and proves itself on chain. Okay, and that's kind of the key. It's on chain memory. And I feel like if you think back to the AI days, we saw people try to do this.
Yes. So there's a project on Base. It's called Ray. Ray was doing this where it was kind of using the blockchain side to introduce like a sense of permanence and transparency with the memory. Like you can literally see Ray's thoughts on the blockchain because of, I forget. Like it's been so long since I've looked into it, but that's from my understanding, that sounds like Ray. So I'd love to, dig into this and get a sense of like, what's the moat? Like, what are they doing? And then ultimately too, like, I kind of want to talk a little bit about token, like, all right, like how does the token like, factor into all of this? So yeah, there you go. But this chart looks
we're in
amazing.
conversation. We're going to get them on for sure. ASAP, either this week or next week. We do have a Thursday spot open, so maybe this Thursday. But yeah, I mean, you can see here, this is Seb saying, "Hey, Brian, founder of Clued. Hey, Brian, would love to work with you on a 750K agent challenge. I built Clued project to handle specific on-agent memory architecture. We scored 100 on low-co-mo benchmark, 69% on long mem eval with a 2% hallucinations. We benchmarked 1,000 agents with 3 memory approaches: basic RAG, 53% hallucination by 50, Open Viking, 26% hallucination, and then Clued, 2% hallucination. Which, I mean, clearly, I mean, that's much better than the 2 benchmark it was benchmarked against. Now, again, like, I'm not as deep in the AI weeds as these people, clearly. Like, I'm not even sure what Open Viking is, or even generally what a basic RAG is, to be honest. So, like, how would this stack up against something like Claude or OpenAI? Maybe I'm not in like the completely wrong ballpark, but curious about that. But still, this number is really impressive. 26% hallucination at 750K means I just got a fat thunder outside. 195K agents get confidently wrong every round. Would love for you to explore what we build. Memory is the unlock for the next order of magnitude. 1 million agents worth persistent memory next. So I guess the thing here is maybe it's cheaper or makes more sense to store this memory on chain, and then the agent can just call back to this memory whenever it needs to, and it's all there, rather than having to compress and have some very, very long list of memory just stored like locally in Claude or something. It can be stored on chain, and then there's less hallucination. The AI knows what it's talking about more, knows the history better. That's kind of how I'm picking this up from a logical standpoint. From an AI like brain standpoint, I have no clue what it's doing, but I think I'm onto something with
Yeah, no, you're onto something. If you hit the grok function on that tweet, you can also have it like you can ask it like hey, this is talking about the benchmark tests. Yeah, to kind of that sort of thing. Like if you go to
Jeez Louise.
You can even ask it stuff like scroll up a little bit on the tweet. Let's see, right there. We scored 100% on loco. You can ask it about like, okay, what are loco mo benchmarks, long mem eval with 2% hallucinations. You can ask for, what's the average hallucination for AI agents. Like that's honestly like a lot of the stuff that I do. Like I just be asking Grok, bro, and like
cheat code, bro.
And I just literally. And you can flip so many questions and you can look at things so many days. You just have to know the right questions to ask. That's really all it is.
AI is such a cheat code. If you're not using it in your trading, bro, or your research, you're way out of line. What's the difference between Claude and CMEM? Or Clued? Top Humbler, like I don't know enough about Clued to give you a specific answer. I think CMEM is not storing the stuff on chain, right? Like Clued is storing all the stuff on chain.
Yeah, that's the difference. Is storing stuff on chain.
Right,
yeah,
so
I mean
every single block Solana produces, it's forged into the blockchain.
Yeah. Crypto Jones had a question. Quick question about DLMM is the idea to provide liquidity on the way up and pull liquidity out on the way down. You can do it either way, right? Like if something is going up, like there's a fat discovery candle, like what we're seeing here on Clued, for example. You can essentially set bids to provide liquidity on the way down. Because I don't know if you guys remember like the old days of like buying liquidity, or providing liquidity. You would literally have to like, go half and half on the token stable coin. You got to form it into an LP, then you got to deposit the LP somewhere. Like basically what Meteora is doing is like automating a lot of the process, making the process a lot more convenient to provide liquidity. And so you can, if you show my Clued chart real quick, I can help break this down a little bit. See, like with Clued, this is what I call a discovery candle, right? Like fat pump. Everybody looks, whoa, what's that? And so now that everyone's looking, if you believe that, hey, for example, let's just paint a quick scenario on this chart. Hey, it's approaching all-time high. This could be where it's this pump stops. I don't usually buy tops. And so I'm going to wait. Instead of waiting to time an entry, what you can do is typically DLMMers, they would use -80% as the metric. You set a range from current price all the way to 80% down, right? And let's just say 80% down is here. I don't really know where it is exactly. And you can provide liquidity through these like DCA bids on the way down, right? And then as price reverses and come down, all these bids hit. And as price is like doing this, like you're just collecting fees, bro. You're milking stuff. Like if something accumulates after you set these bids, like if this thing just continues to accumulate right here, as it goes up and hits these buy zones, then it sells out. And then you can do the opposite, right? Like I can do the opposite. If something is that's when something is already high and you buy in as it's going down. Now, at the same time, when you've already bought in, you can sell out as the price is going up. So you can really be super creative with how you're providing liquidity because number one, it's made to be more convenient through DLMMing. And there's multiple ways to do it. You can do it as price is going up. You can sell out of tokens. You can literally just one side liquidity provision, put all your tokens into the chart, and then the DLMMing software or technology will take care of everything else. And you can sell on the way up, and then also earn fees, or you can buy on the way down, and then on its way back up, you'll also earn fees. The key here, though, Crypto Jones, is your range. It's all about your range, because if this is my range, if this price ever goes back, excuse me, if this price ever goes back to all-time high, you're now out. You're now out of your position here. All of your position is done. So this is at 3 mil market cap. What if it goes to 10 mil market cap? You miss pretty much everything. Now, the good thing is you get fees. You get fees in the token. So you can keep the fees. You can keep the fees that you receive in the token to kind of get some of the upside. But again, you can be really creative. So instead of doing that, I do what I did with what the dog doing. Like with what the dog doing, what I did was I bought my entry already at the low, and potentially what I can do is DLMM out. So you can DLMM in, you can DLMM out. You can do whatever the heck you want. Like literally it's up to you and how you want to provide liquidity. But as long as you provide the proper range to both buy in or sell out, you can maximize, you can really, really juice your gains. Like imagine, dog, what the dog doing right now is at like, my average is like 2 mil or something like that. Imagine that goes to 10 mil or that goes to 15 mil. And I set my range between 8 and 15. And as it's up there, remember, that's a discovery candle. Volume will spike. The fees will be really nice. And imagine like you're now like 6xing your money on price, but then you're juicing that by adding on top of that the fees that you earn while you sell out of your position in a responsible way. And plus, it's clean for the chart. You DCA out, so you're not just full stacking. Like DLMM, it's actually pretty good.
Dude, it's so money because I use limit orders as is. Like that's the only way I buy and sell is capitulation or, like you said, price discovery candles. Dude, you're absolutely right. The volume on both of those moves is typically so high. I can only imagine that you're just eating those fees up at those levels. It's so obvious. I gotta lock in once you get this down.
Yeah, I'm gonna the only other part of it that I'm trying to get is you can provide you can be an LP through a pool. So there's this DLMM where you put your liquidity on the chart, or there's like the other side of it where you can just provide liquidity and open up your own pool. And depending on like which token you open up or how competitive the pool is, because you might see when you search on Dex Screener that there's a Meteora pool that's open on something, right? Like there could be a pump token, but then you'll also see a Meteora pool. The thing is, things get kind of auto routed, especially when you talk about like aggregators, trading terminals, and stuff like that. They get auto routed through like the fastest, cheapest route. So if you can like, you can also like not only provide the liquidity pool itself, you can also set the fees. So if you set the fees at like an optimal rate that competes with other pools, or in the best case scenario, maybe you're the only Meteora token pool, maybe you're the only pool for Meteora, or you're the only pool for that token on Meteora, and all those fees get routed through, all those buys get routed through your pool, and you earn a ton of fees on that. That's the part I'm trying to get down. I get the idea. I just need to understand, like, the different, like, what's the optimal price point, like, and that all that changes based on token, based on market cap, based on volume, and all this stuff. So yeah, there's a lot you can do. Again, you can get really, really creative with it.
LP ETF in the future, maybe not a bad idea.
Perhaps.
I don't know about for like us or chill, but maybe crime. Maybe
Yeah,
crime.
yeah.
Dude, what about UDAI? Have you seen that? This is not on Solana. This is a base project, but ODAI, it's been
Yes. I've been seeing that around. Let me pull up the
gotta
chart.
reach out to them, try to get them on. I mean, we missed the boat on this one pretty good, so.
Oh goodness. Let me delete. I got too many base charts on here. What's it? ODAI.
Yep.
Jesus, it's at 7. It's at 8 mil. Oh my
I know,
goodness,
dude. I know. Look at this thing.
Oh my goodness, this has been like on a freaking tear,
Beautiful
bro.
chart. This is why
all I'm saying is
base looks so much better for these charts. Are the reason base can be so much better, bro. It just like walks the dog up. No 80% drawdowns, no bundlers nuking the chart and raping you. Like, oh my gosh,
dude, like this is a prime example, like why, because in my Telegram, some people are like, oh man, like we need some soul plays, we need some I'm like, bro, there's no soul plays. I mean, now they are, like, you have the Clues of the world and what
get on base,
doing,
bro.
so, but yeah, man, like just go where the volume is. Like, look at this, man. This chart looks clean as crap. What's this ticker? ODAI.
And the thing is, bro, I'll add to that too. It's not like if you're on Solana and you're able to spot projects that are good, you could do the same thing on base. It's not like there's some magical difference here and one chain all of a sudden is completely spotting different types of runners than the other chain. Like if it's a good project on Solana, it would do good on base when base is hot. And if base is dead and it's a good project on base, it'd do good on Solana when Solana's hot. Like these are not chain dependent coins. These are go where the attention is. And if it's a good coin and you like it, you can probably make that same trade on whatever chain. So like, I think this was one of my issues when I would stick to one chain predominantly, right? For example, Solana, I wouldn't hop over to base. I'm like, well, I don't have really an edge on base. And like, that's not actually true. You do have an edge on base. If you have an edge on Solana or any other chain, you have an edge on base. It's the same stuff that runs. You just gotta, acclimate with the climate. So
yeah,
get on base, bro.
So I think let me see. I think I found a nice little thesis. Let's see. ODAI is building world model, persistent structured memory systems for AI agents. Founder is
that thesis.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to pull it. Yeah, sure, I'll pull it up. Yeah, here it is. Let me see. So here it is. So the founder is Zero Hero. He co-founded Aegis, 40 million plus DeFi project, wrote their first smart contracts before raising millions. Persistent memory infrastructure for AI agents, 6-layer knowledge graphs on Neo4j, token gated API. That right there. You got me. You freaking got me. Token gated API built. Yeah, I mean, look, that's what we've all been chasing, man. I think that I've always thought that token gating is like, it just creates more friction for users. But if your user is an AI agent, I mean, it just becomes a lot easier. Number one. And number two, yeah, go ahead.
This network effect token, like we're seeing different. I think the AI crypto convergence is so good, right? Because these are like technologically savvy people or agents. And like when you see VVV or DM and you have to like, you stake for compute or you stake to token gate to get access to an API. Like, I mean, these do work if they're powerful enough too. Like there is actually a network effect and we're seeing that with VVV. And so it can happen with an API like this if the API is powerful enough and there are enough people that are willing to, buy tokens and stake them. And of course, the more expensive the token gets, the less people are going to do it. But that's what determines the fair value of the API, right? So how valuable is the API in this case? I don't know. I feel like I've been on the train of, okay, tokens got to have some sort of underlying like equity or tie to the business. There are like token specific network effect driven companies that actually will work. It's just got to be done right.
I think that, a mistake that I made last year, that really hurt my portfolio was being, I don't want to say too bullish on ICM ownership, but being tunnel visioned with ICM and ownership. I was tunnel visioned, as in like I was too focused on that, and that will be the only solution to this token issuance. When in reality, it's not about does the thing have value in intrinsic value. That's not the question. The question, who is the buyer? Who is the buyer? Who is the user? And what are the tokenomics that like kind of like can power or can kind of hype how can I say it? I'm at a loss for words. But it's all about who's buying, who's using it. How do the tokenomics kind of create that relationship between buyer and token? And a lot of this stuff with token gating and AI agents that will stimulate demand. So that's good for some of these tokens. That's why I was like with the API, token gated API, because I'm like, dude, that makes like so much sense. Because the demand for API for a world memory system, like, and that's the part that I'm trying to sort of like
now the question still comes back to, I mean, this guy's got to pay to run these models, right? It's like, it's not free to do that. So like, where does that money come from? If the best way to get access to this is buying a token and staking and you get access, well, then there's no paying customers, right? They're just buying the token and they're putting it in. And so you still have to support the model itself. And so my question becomes like, is there an equity aspect? How do they raise money to do this? Is it from fees that they're going to power the model? Like, how is it powered? And I guess these are questions we'll have to ask them if we can get them on, but yeah. So I'm not sure how that would work.
I'd love to get them on to explain all this.
Could be crypto Jones. It could be trading fees, but that's not all sustainable, right? If there's no one trading the token, you could have a million users, but if no one's trading the token, then I guess still naturally, if you buy it to stake to get access to the API, you're going to have to trade, and there's going to be some fee out of it. Maybe it's trading fees. I just don't know if that's the best answer.
Yeah, I gotta like see if I can find a nice thread on this. Let me see. Oh,
I'll be reaching out to him for sure.
One. Yeah, definitely. We got to get him on the show.
Fumbler, way back clock could perhaps be a good beta to include. Dude, I just looked at the chart. We'll look at it after this segment, but the charts look the exact same, just like completely different market caps. Like 10x smaller.
Yeah. Let's see. ODEI. Oh, let me share this. There's this article by Altcoinist. I've followed him for a long time. And he's done really good content. But basically this ODEI, the governance layer for personal AI. If you're still prompting your AI, you're already behind. ODEI gives you a world model, persistent memory, rules, auditable execution, a continuous loop. Observe, decide, act, verify, evolve. Not on your prompts, on your world. Assistant talks, infrastructure acts. So like tech for Jarvis is what I'm getting at here. Tech for a Jarvis level agent, that one that knows you, that adjusts itself and stuff like that. So world models are the move from session intelligence to operational intelligence. I like the way he put that. Let me see. That is why ODI is interesting, not because it shouts AGI, but because it's trying to turn the world model thesis into a live product surface. Describes itself as a governance layer for AI. Its public docs expose live routes for world model projection and intake across agent, human, and enterprise lanes. While it's March 2026, one pager frames the product in a simple loop: observe, decide, act, verify, evolve. So, okay. Let me see. I'm just reading this. Its roadmap starts with an agent builder. How long is this? Yeah. It's a little bit on the
It's got
lengthy.
some length to it.
Jesus, it's a lot on the lengthy side. So the bull case summary. Let's fast forward a little bit. Targets real AI bottleneck. If everyone has access to the same models, prompting is not a moat. The world model is. It's not another LLM or chatbot. It's a governance layer. Core thesis: move from prompt-based workflows to shared world model with persistent context, policy, and audit. Okay, so I think here's the baseline. Here's the baseline. It's already live, not just roadmap. 94K revenue earned. Okay. Oh, is that just trading? Is that for trading fees though? Live infrastructure, got nodes, functions, got some activity on the platform. Near-term catalyst: A16Z speedrun application submitted with a mention of a highest signal operator lane up to 1 million. Doc's founder, spent 4 years at Google as the core AI algo developer. And of course, we covered that he was a founder. Okay, so here's the summary of ODEI, just based on what I understand. You have a Jarvis, essentially. You have an AI agent that has persistent memory that it retains, and it uses that memory and the world model, as they call it, like the ability to kind of like see as you see, think as you think, react, like it take in information as you take in information. It's not just taking in information when you prompt it, or it's not doing something when you prompt for it. It's doing it like on its own. But I guess the level of what it does is kind of their moat. Like it's able to evolve on its own. It's able to coordinate and do a lot all autonomously. So I think, again, I have to read into this a little bit more, but I think that is the main kind of summary of this. It's just this model it's this model that's able to process the world as it happens. And then obviously the platform, a part of the thesis is the platform's already gaining traction with, fees, activity, etc. So some good indication that a thesis is playing out here. So look, again, I got to dig into this. I literally just found this project the same time you guys found this project, so I have no idea. Yeah, I wonder what the model is powered by. That's a great question. It's probably here somewhere
in that thread.
Yeah,
Looks like that thread's got just about everything you need to know.
Yeah, I'm gonna take some time and really read this. And if you guys want, I can link this. I can link this for you guys.
I'm sure it'll be in the show notes as well.
Yeah, but hit the altcoinist. Follow the altcoinist. So yeah, follow him. He did an amazing write up on it. So you guys can, but I'll be reading this a little bit later. Let's talk really briefly.
Maybe send that in private chat so we have it. Chill.
Yeah, I'll send it in private. Really briefly, I also do want to talk a little bit about let's see here. I want to talk a little bit about chart entries. Dang, this jump to, I can see this jump into like 10 mil here, like pretty soon. I don't know. Let's see. Let's just go with support and resistance real quick. There's some support there. There's some support there. There's some support here. Let's see if where the confluence is with the fibs. See if that can help us like eye an entry somewhere. So yeah, I mean, I guess 4 mil ideally would be the place to accumulate. But yeah, I mean, the accumulation on this thing is like phenomenal. This is like one of the better movers.
Yeah.
On base, I would even say too.
How many
like
holders?
According to the altcoinist, it's like 28,000 if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, what? Holy.
Hold on. Let me
Just price
don't
ODA. Here,
hold on.
I'll
Let me go back to the thread. No. It was 100.
2,700.
2700. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was 1,000. I was like, no way.
That'd be
Hold on. I gotta
nuts.
go
No.
back. I gotta go back.
No,
So
yeah,
yeah,
not
that's ODAI
2760.
2760. That's still pretty good. That's
Mhm.
still pretty good. Yeah, no, good chart, good project. Hope you guys enjoyed the live DD and the breakdown. Let's see what else we got.
Dude, man, this Blockworks chart came out and we continue to talk about it today, but this Blockworks chart, I think, just again continues to show tokenized assets have accounted for 33%. Oh, make sure I'll share my screen
you can
here.
share. Yeah.
I thought this chart was pretty crazy. So let me zoom in for you guys. Tokenized assets accounted for 33% of last week's volume on Hyperliquid, a new all-time high. Guys, Hyperliquid, I mean, like, this is crazy. Just look at the Hyperliquid stats here, right? You can see, well, this is just the rise in price. Nonetheless, look at this. Tokenized assets account for 33% of last week's volume on Hyperliquid. Not long ago, Hyperliquid did not have tokenized gold. It did not have tokenized silver. It did not have tokenized oil. For so long, Hyperliquid has just been crypto. But look at this. Nearly 1/3 of all their volume, or not nearly, 1/3 of all their volume came from tokenized assets last week, which is nuts to see. Like,
That's insane.
It shows the direction we're headed in the market. If people can't trade oil and there's something big going on and they want access to trading oil, they will trade it on Hyperliquid. If you want to trade assets that you can't trade because the market is closed, you'll trade those traditional assets. You'll trade the tokenized version on Hyperliquid. Like, it's happening in real time, which I think is wild to see.
I mean, there's a tweet that we talked about on here not too long ago that basically talked about like how, you know, Hyperliquid was going from the true 0 to 1, right? And like I feel like that's literally what we're seeing play out here with Hyperliquid. It's literally a 0 to 1 from an adoption standpoint. Like, there's a reason why a lot of people, you know, copied Hyperliquid's business model there, right? Like, it was successful. And it's crazy because, you know, we read that article about how Gen Z, I don't know if you read that one, Gen Z, like they want to hyper gamble their way out of this like this underclass. Yeah. Like, I mean, how else can you say it? Like, they feel like the only way they can get ahead is to gamble. Like, they got to take a risk and go out there and get it. So, you know, that literally aligns with what Hyperliquid is doing, like, and with non-KYC and legalization coming into the US. I think this fully unlocks when it becomes legal, when the US legalizes perps fully.
I mean, look, we are seeing Kraken has acquired Xstocks, right? And we're seeing Xstocks partner up with the is it the NYSE or is it NASDAQ? I forget.
I think NYSE.
OKX is one of them. Kraken's the other. One of them's got the NASDAQ. One of them's got the NYSE. But nonetheless, like, we're seeing Xstocks go and integrate with this stuff. So it's like, it's coming. I mean, it's absolutely coming. Hype is an interesting play in a bear market. Would you long it on leverage? It's not necessarily interesting in a bear market. It's go long if there's a lot of volatility. It's the volatility hedge.
Yeah. Honestly, that's an interesting take. Volatility edge. I guess the way I think about Hyperliquid is, yeah, no, actually, that's a really good take on it. That's a really good take. I don't even think I would describe it any differently. The only reason why I was really interested in Hyperliquid was just because of the outperformance, bro. We ended up, I saw it break. We covered it live on the show when it broke out, and this is when, you know, we see the tweet here with Josh converting all his ETH to Hyperliquid on the 28th. So on February 28th. Like, so we had this on our radar for quite a long time, and just noticing the outperformance, I'm like, wow, there's something going on here. And so it doesn't surprise me to see that they're adding gold, they're adding silver, they're adding this, they're adding that. at the end of the day, man, like now that we have on-chain access to some of these other markets, there's no need to stay in crypto if there's a bear market. Now, Dom was saying, it is a hedge for sure, like on volatility. So, you know, hype kind of becomes this sort of safe haven. But, you know, dude, learn how to trade stocks, learn how to trade metals. Like, you know, like why not? We have access to it. And if nothing is going up within our industry, what I'm going to do, stay here and get chopped up?
Yeah, hype's a great bet. I mean, I mean, yeah. 21% of open interest on the entire platform right now is in tokenized assets, right? So
Yeah.
gold, silver, oil, 21%. This was just introduced. So, I mean, it just shows the growing market. There's growing market for, you know, perps just in general. And now we're seeing inaccessible markets on the weekends being tradable for TradFi. Like, it just opens up a big door. Solana's talking about here. You can see they just released recently, and I'll zoom out here. Tokens on Solana, go follow it. They've only got 3,000 followers. You're early. This is 24/7 breaking news, how it moves global financial markets and where those markets live on Solana, managed by Solana Foundation. They just released this channel, just launched it, along with this website, tokens.xyz. So not sure what that exactly looks like, but you'll be able to track some of the tokens on Solana, and it looks like some of the tokenized stuff is definitely going to be on there. Based on the video we just watched, it looks like they got ETFs, metals, crypto, you know, X stocks, I think I saw on there. Yeah. Stocks, metals, all that stuff. So pay attention to that. I don't know. It's coming. Like, it's absolutely coming.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But yeah, I think that's it, man. Like, so Crypto Jones, yes, I definitely would leverage long on Hyperliquid, but I have to still get a good entry, right? Like, you have to, I'm not just gonna like blind long it. I got the chart pulled up on mine if you want to pull me up. But this here, like, I identified this
lower
I
30s.
think this was I identified this block here, this FVG fair value gap, and I had it literally an alert set for when it fell below 30. And as you can see, if I zoom in here, as you can see, it literally like tapped just above it, man, just above it right there. And I didn't get because if this bounced on this green line, oh bro, I'd have went long. That was that's where I wanted to go long, but it just didn't tap. So the good thing is, to make leverage trading easier, in my opinion, number one is finding the right asset, an asset that moves up. And I can get rid of this. Yeah, I can delete this. Yeah, so number one is finding the asset that outperforms the market, that moves up. I like to long mostly. And we've now found the asset that moves up. The next thing is just finding an entry, right? Finding an entry that like works well. So we're at this market structure break. What I'll be looking for is like some retest of the red line, essentially. That's all I'll be looking for. Retest of the red line, and we're good to go. We're golden.
I don't think you get much on this. I mean,
I don't
I was calling for lower 30s, and my thesis was, okay, we got a ton of volume because oil's been so volatile, and silver just came out. You know, metals, gold, silver just came out on Hyperliquid. That's gotten a ton of volume. I was thinking, you know, maybe this volume doesn't quite persist, and as that volume takes a dip, you know, protocol revenue takes a dip, and when protocol revenue takes a dip, price correlates with that and takes a dip as well. You know, not a violent one. We just haven't been seeing that. Like, we just haven't been seeing that.
Yeah.
Thesis still applies. Like, as soon as that thing takes a dip, we're going to see the market dip with it. And the bid here is thinking that it's going to continue gaining volume over time and picking up TVL and revenue. And like, that's the bet. Eventually it's going to dip. And when it does, hopefully you seize that opportunity, because I don't think it'll be there for a long time. These two, I mean, these two accumulation zones at the bottom and then after the pump here during March were just like golden chances.
Literally. Shout out Josh, man. Yeah. Shout out Josh, dude. Like, the 28th is right here. Like, he literally got in on the very last dip before this thing rocketed up.
Is there a liquidation map for hype? Crypto Jones, it wouldn't be the Bitcoin heat map, it would be the hype heat map in this case. But
so wait, there's the liquidation heat map for hype is in like what I would use on my chart, or could you overlay the BTC heat map on the hype chart? So I use the dynamic liquidity heat map for the Bitcoin chart, and then I use this open liquidity heat map for altcoins. So this open liquidity heat map is what I'd use for altcoins, and as you can see, we're headed to some like all the liquidity is up here. So prices more incentivized to go higher, to hunt all of this. I mean, and this is like, as you can see, the point of control on this is all the way at $25. I don't think we get back down there, right? Like maybe we do. I mean, we can, but I don't know if we get that low. We've tried to get that low since for weeks now, and we've been unable to do that. So yeah, right now I think hype continues to go higher, but once it's done, like hunting some of this stuff all the way up to, I would even say like $47, I'd say we probably, let's say we hunt some of this stuff up here. Maybe now we take a dip back down to the market structure break and then go back up. So this would be the area I would try to get long, essentially. And let me show you. Let me just pull the line out a little bit.
And I want to also explain this to people, not to interrupt your flow here.
Yeah.
But like, why is liquidity important? So what happens when this is liquidity, right? So what happens here is when these prices get hit, positions don't just close, they flip from short to long, right? So every time these numbers get hit, that's why when you get what's called a short squeeze, is when price moves up enough, people that are short have to flip positions from short to long. They have to sell out their positions, and that's selling from short to long, right? And so what happens here is when these levels get hit on the liquidation heat map, you have this short squeeze effect that causes price to accelerate, right? And so if there's lots of liquidity in one place, when that gets hit, you have positions flip, just further, enhancing the push, right? So that's why this heat map's important to look out to. And of course, some of these guys might see price coming and close out, so they don't get liquidated and flip. But again, every time that happens, you have adding to the position that price is moving. So
yeah,
that's why the really liquidation heat map is important.
Yeah, that's a really good breakdown. Ultimately, markets they hunt for liquidity. They look for liquidity. That's the way it was explained to me. And that when you overlay the liquidity heat map, that actually makes a lot more sense. Like price wants to travel toward where the liquidity is. So yeah, Crypto Jones probably see that dip to MSB before high or no. Maybe we could, but in this context with Bitcoin and this context with hype outperforming Bitcoin, I think we
I don't know if you see MSB, man.
Higher.
I think if you get down like towards the bottom of that circle where Chill has, like even 30, 35 and below, I think that's kind of your like, you gotta start working in a position here. Maybe it goes lower. Like it's hard to time the bottom, but when you have an asset that is bullish like this, and the metrics are good and the numbers are good, and the price to earnings are like significantly below competitors, what you would typically see, like you can't wait for these big dips. Maybe it dips. Like no one's got the crystal ball, but you have to start averaging in at like any chance you get, I think, right? And so that's 35 below dip is probably your first little taste.
Yeah. And for context, when I look at these macro charts, I'm always looking for leverage positions. I'm not looking for spot positions on these things. If I was looking for spot, I just rip it. I would just rip it right now. You know what I mean? Like if I was I didn't get my alert hit here below $30, right here in this FVG, I showed you guys, like I was looking for a bid in here. I would just buy up here, right? Like if it was spot, I would just buy here. I don't care if it dips a little bit. Like the thing is, if I'm buying spot, especially on a chart like hype, I'm probably buying it to hold for a lot longer, right? Like this is a cycle long hold, or at least a multi-month, maybe even like 6-month or 8-month or 12-month hold, depending on how the thesis starts to evolve. Like, but this is a long-term hold, is my point. So buying at buying at $30 versus buying at $29 in the long run, 6 to 8 months from now, when you know, hype is at like, I don't know, $100 or $500, whatever it's going to, I'm not going to care if I buy at 29 or $30. Like it's it's a dollar difference, right? So yeah, when I'm looking at these charts, just keep that in mind. Like I'm mostly looking for leverage positions, and with leverage, you need to be a little bit more precise. You need to be a little bit more mindful of how you're entering these trades, because a trade can easily flip against you. So yeah.
And news, yeah. So Fumbler, I talked to Pinky. I would say keep reaching out to him. He said he's trying to disassociate himself with, from being the face of Botcoin, right? So
bullish.
He wants Botcoin to be autonomous. He wants the agents to run the protocol. Zero human company sort of vibes. So he's saying he's kind of in this situation where he could come on because he wants to support Botcoin and like continue to highlight it, but at the same time he wants to push it towards this more democratized, agentic approach. And so that's where he's at. I told him it's a great story. I would still love to get him on, and he could even tell that story on MCG. But I'm not sure if it's going to happen, Fumbler. It doesn't seem like he's opposed to coming on, but he seems to be wanting to push this to an autonomous agent-focused situation. So if we get him, we get him. If we don't, we don't. But I am trying for you, buddy. If you could even, bump him on that, maybe he rolls over for us. I would love it though. Thanks for the suggestion. Really appreciate it. All your suggestions help, guys. When I get off stream, I go and do a bunch of outbound. I try to get people on. We always want to make sure the show's got good guests for you guys. At the end of the day, that's what this show is about. It's actionable, what's hot, what's important. We want to get them on, and I'm willing to reach out. We're all willing to reach out. I've even sacrificed my own personal account. My own personal account doesn't even post anymore. It's just under comments of projects I went on MCG talking about getting my DMs and check your DMs. So we're trying to do it. If you have suggestions, always drop it, and we'll make sure to make an effort towards getting them on, because that's what everyone shows up for. So please, thanks, Fumbler. Bitcoin's looking at 7.3% on the day.
Jeez.
The ETH monthly looks dangerous. I'm not gonna lie. The ETH monthly looks like the ETH monthly candle before it went to all-time highs.
Yeah, I really appreciate the hustle, fellows. What's Dupe and Bobby been up to?
You know what? I will say this. I've been selling Dupe on this pump. Daddy Duster. I've been selling Dupe on this pump. It's nothing against Bobby.
No disrespect.
No disrespect, but there's no meaningful token implementation. And that's just the facts. They've bought back a lot with fees. I don't think a meaningful amount's been bought back because their platform has a lot of users. Now their platform does have a lot of users. If we can get those users to access something only with, token gating, or you have to stake token, or you have to burn token, maybe we're talking something here. We talked about network effects earlier and how access to API, if you lock tokens or a token gated API, there's bullish nature to that. VVV, you have to stake tokens to get access to inference and compute. Bullish nature to that network effects. But if you have a token that, you do stuff on a platform, you get a very, very microscopic amount. It doesn't have much of an impact. It needs to be impactful. I just don't think that's Dupe yet. And it's not they're not doing anything for the equity. So unfortunately, it's uninvestable right now. But love the product, love Bobby. Maybe we'll get him back on for an update. The token actually is holding up pretty good, which is why I've been scaling out. But hopefully, no offense is taken to that. It's just it's the truth of the matter. But
facts.
That's how I'm looking at Dupe. We're here to make money.
No, this, yeah, you're right. We are here to make money. There's no doubt about that. That's our job as traders. Whoa, G. All right. So here's the 2 week.
Chill.
Here's the 2 week chart. Here's the 2 week chart on ETH. Low key, I actually should move this to here. Actually, this is it's a much better. Yeah, that actually gives me a much better perspective on ETH there. But yeah, dude, ETH looks absolutely ready. I have a thesis on ETH. I don't know if you've heard about it, but ETH is hitting supply. It's hitting the lowest centralized exchange supply. It's hit the lowest ever in like, years. So I'm doing a little bit of a thesis write up on ETH.
Supply shock thesis.
Yep. And here I'll show you guys. I'll show you guys the work right now. Bang. And let me just hit this. So here is the Ethereum on exchange reserve. So as you can see, over the course of 2025, moving to now, the exchange reserve of ETH is like there's almost nothing left, bro. There's only like 16 million ETH left on exchanges, and this is the lowest it's been for quite some time. So yeah, supply shock type of situation on ETH is basically what we're looking at. I'm still holding for targets to 15K for ETH. I think ETH is the roadmap with quantum resistance and privacy on chain, and what they're I love what ETH is doing, man. Dude, ZEC is up 15% on the day. Sheesh, look at that, huh? Look at that, huh?
Look, we've talked about this. Right now, it's like markets are pretty risk off. And when you look at everything, it seems like we're closer to like cycle bottoms. And so you have to kind of revert back to how does the flow work? You get majors, high caps, mid caps, low caps on chain. Hence the reasoning we've been looking at, 6 months ago, we may have been looking on chain a lot. And even now, I guess a little bit on base and whatever's hot. But there's a reason we've shifted. And why everyone in macro is hot right now. It's because people are looking for macro plays. That's why you're looking at hype. That's why you're looking at ZEC. That's why you're looking at, Tau, the tensor, right? Because you have to get the bids into the majors first, and then it trickles down to on chain. So I would say your best bet here is if you think markets are turning bullish, squeeze 50, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500% out of the majors. And then trickle down, especially if you like trading Solana, especially if you like trading base. I'm not going to tell you to go bid Ethereum, right? Because I'm much more a supporter of Solana, but like bid some Solana, bid some ETH, and rotate those profitable positions down into the lower on-chain assets. Remember what Josh said. He made a really, really great point. Think back to the NFT days. NFTs did so well because they came at the top of a cycle. Everybody was crypto rich, right? They had a lot of Ethereum. They had a lot of Solana, mostly Ethereum. This was mostly on Ethereum, right? So these guys had a lot of Ethereum, and they didn't know what to do with their money. Markets were frothy. They could go and drop $1 million on a PFP and not blink twice. No one's doing that in this market. So what has to happen to get people to start spending money recklessly, you could say, is you have to get those majors to run in the denominated currencies, right? Things are denominated in Solana. Things are denominated in Ethereum. We're seeing a lot more denomination in USDC, so maybe this changes a little bit. But I think the truth still stands. You have to get the majors to run first to see a liquidity effect, domino effect into the on-chain pairs. And so that's the bet right now. Bet on some of the majors, bet on some of the mid caps, bet on some of the high caps. And once those start moving, then you can go a little more risk on. Remember, it takes a few weeks. If you look back when we got the start of this run, Bitcoin had ran for multiple weeks, even months, 2 or 3 months before we actually started seeing on-chain rapidly reprice. And it happened fast, mainly on Ethereum, actually. So same thesis applies. But Zach, look at that, up 15%. So here's like what we got, like 3 categories, I think. Right there, we see hype, Zach, and Tau. Right, hype. It's kind of your barometer on liquidity and volatility. If there's a lot of volatility in the market, things are going up and down, it's going to be traded on hype. Like that's going to get volume. It's going to get answers. If the market's dead and sideways, hype actually probably doesn't do very, very well because you have to understand the nature of the protocol. You have Zach, privacy. Well, are we moving into an era of the markets where we're going to start seeing more stable coins being onboarded? We're going to start seeing more traditional finance be onboard. Are we going to start seeing these rails be used more in the mainstream? If you think that answer is yet, is privacy a natural benefactor of that? Like, do you need privacy to make sure this happens at a higher level? I think the answer is yes. Like, clearly, we can't have crypto go mainstream if everyone can see your wallet and everything you do, right? I don't know. I'm not sold on Zach being the answer personally, but here is your beta to that, right? And then you got Tau, right? If you think AI and the convergence of AI and crypto is going to do well, Tau's kind of the beta to that. It's not that you necessarily think Tau is going to get a ton of the inbound and we're going to see all the innovation happen for Tau. Actually, in fact, we've seen most of it happen on Base and Solana. And Potenzer hasn't seen a ton of that. Now, in the old days, Potenzer got a lot of attention, but still, it's that beta. Right? If you see that happening, what's the first thing people jump to? Okay, Tau. And I think Tau is actually one of the most talked about tokens right now in terms of mainstream, in terms of like centralized exchanges and the activity there. So that's where your head's at. It's not really on chain right now. And so your question is directionally, where are we headed? What do we need for a future? What do we foresee in the future of crypto? Okay, volatility, AI, privacy. If these are yes, then what's like the easiest beta for that to flow into? Okay, where is the most money going to go? And I think that's where you get Tau, Hype, and Zach.
Yo, Dom, you cooked on that. You cooked on that. Not even gonna lie. Not even gonna lie. You cooked on that. Clip that. Yeah. We definitely got to clip that. 224. Good clip from Dom. As you can see in this chart here, just a little confluence with Dom. The sector outperformance. Here you see first is AI. Let's just DeFi, nothing happening, right? Gaming, nothing happening. L2s, nothing happening. L1s, nothing really happening. But well, L1 is actually third, but we see meme coins, but mostly AI tokens. We're seeing a massive surge of interest for AI tokens. So it's no wonder that tokens like Tau are ripping. And in this case, this chart here, it tracks FET, NEAR, Render, and Tau. So these things are outperforming massively. Shout out Kitchen, the big homie Kitchen in the chat. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope you're doing well. If you guys don't know, Kitchen he's on the Nuke team. He's on the Nook Plot team. And Nook Plot came on our stream last week, and we had an awesome conversation with them.
Got to run it back.
So yeah, we definitely got to run that back whenever you guys got updates. I really enjoyed that one. A lot of great, just like piece of conversation there. But Kitchen says, I wonder if we see AI actually become the privacy layer, if that makes sense, through the use of agents. That's an interesting one.
Through the use of agents and swarms.
I think there is opportunities to weave in actions that can hide the true user. Shout out to the homies. We should definitely run it back. Yeah, absolutely, brother. Absolutely. That's an interesting one though.
I mean, agents, I think like agents are just going to do what's the best, right? No matter what, because there is no friction with them. They'll just do it. And so I think like they'll go through protocols that maybe have zero knowledge graphs on them. So you can do zero knowledge transactions and they're like, it's untraceable. If that's, of course, what they want, right? They're going to do the best. They're going to do what works the best and what like makes the most sense. I don't know. We have to get your thoughts on how the agents specifically would add to the privacy narrative rather than like being better than a protocol. I see like the protocol layer. I think it starts at the wallet layer, to be honest. I think all wallets in the future will just have like native privacy. Like
shout out Umbra,
shout out Soulflare, etc. I think it starts at the wallet level more so than the agent level, but not sure.
I think agents can they can add to it. But going back to your point about like on chain, like if you look at this chart, this the volume in the market right now, not really there, not really there. So yeah, just a little confluence there, but I think I'm good, bro. I think I'm good. We went through a ton. We went through a bunch of charts with you guys. We did some on-chain DD, some live DD here on stream. We talked a lot of bit about some majors that we're watching, like Fartcoin. I'm probably going to be getting into some shorts here. Not on any of these runners, but maybe probably a short on Bitcoin. Maybe I should short XPL. Let's see. I'm just curious as to where this is right now. Look at that, man. XPL is out here trying to make a comeback. But yeah, I think I'm gonna be
maybe
getting
not even short, just like pair trade. So I guess you would need the asset to even swap it.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm good. I'm good with my Bitcoin short here. I'm actually gonna Umbra is great. I am bullish. Nice. Yeah, I love the guys at Umbra. Shout out the team. But we went through a lot.
Let's run through real quick MetaDAO, because MetaDAO is raising another curated launch. They're having another curated launch seeking 6 million difficult in this market. Remember, we saw HuroPay seeking 4 million. They got up to 3 and failed. They got up to 2, and then they got up to 1, had a last minute jump to 2, and I think they didn't hit their minimum. So we can jump through some of those. But also, yeah, so they got a new launch coming, which I'm happy to cover. Maybe we check out Umbra real quick and just see some of this stuff.
I'll let you riff.
Okay,
I'll
sweet. Oh yeah, pull up a chart. Very interested in Umbra SDK and what we can build with it. There we go. Alpha. Is this Nook Alpha? Might be. Okay, look at this. So Umbra is at lows. So 20 million, 10 million circulating, I would imagine. Is that what that is?
No, maybe. I'm not sure. Let me
I can tell you guys real quick. You like to full screen it. I like to be able to see all the stats on the right side here.
20 mil FDV, 10 mil circulating.
Okay, 20 mil FDV, 10 million circulating. Yeah, so again, with these MetaDAO, like I'm very keen to just buy stupid good risk to reward. Like Solo, if you pull up Solo for me, the risk to reward was just stupid good because it was under net asset value. And so when they proposed a buyback here, it naturally repriced like 40%. Like this was free. And if you go to actual price here, I think it's at 0.74 or something like that. 0.72 something. Yeah, so 0.73. So if you understand how decision markets work, what happens here is there's two sides. There's a yes, this is the price if it passes, and no, this is the price if it doesn't pass. I think the no is 60 something or whatever, or it might be, I guess, fair. It might be whatever the actual current price is. But so what happens is you have something like Solo, and this is why, like, if you're paying attention, there are trades. Like, this is so free. I talked about this at the bottom. Literally talked about this at 0.48. When wherever Chill has that line is roughly where we covered this. And the question was, okay, how much assets does Solo have on their books, right? Okay, they have how much in liquidity, how much do they have from the raise, how much have they burned from, monthly expenses, right? It takes a little time to find this stuff, but once you do, you can get a very clear value. Okay, well, they have 10 million on their books, but the token's trading at 5 million. Well, gee whiz, what's going to happen? Either someone's going to raise a proposal to liquidate this at fair value and liquidate the treasury, and you make an instant 100%, 5 to 10 million, or someone proposes a buyback like happened here. And what's going to happen is now we see those buybacks, if it passes, come in, it's going to bring price to this point. And so it's like very stupid, easy plays. People just aren't paying attention. And so when you see something like Solo, which had that exact situation, and why you should have been paying attention to this is because we just saw Fair Scale get liquidated on Start Off Fund using this decision market, right? There's mercenary capital and there's capital out there seeking these opportunities and taking advantage of them. And so it's really easy with Solo. I say that because Umbra is a little higher. I'm not sure how much money they accepted exactly. You have to do the same strategy you just did for Solo. But look, how much book value does Umbra actually have? And if it's 10 million in book value and they're sitting at a 10 million market cap, well, your downside's pretty limited. Right. It's now on if they execute the vision of what Umbra's trying to build and they can start generating meaningful revenue. Because if they're burning 100,000 a month, let's say, well, and they have 10 million on the books, well, it's going to take 10 months to lose $1 million in value. Right. So maybe you have a 10% downside, 20% downside. If you go draw down 30, 40, 50%, well, all of a sudden now there's arbitrage opportunity and you can buy up more supply, raise a vote to do buybacks. Or if you're, maybe a little more mercenary, raise a vote to do liquidation. I'm not suggesting you do that, but I'm saying like there is a fair value to these. And like there is a literal undervalued value to these. And you can spot them if you simply just look at the numbers. So there's Solo. Solo's looking great. This is one of the ones I've bought because of this exact reason. Umbra I'd have to check on. But do you have a take on Umbra? I am. Again, I think the wallet layer is pretty important for privacy. So they're doing something cool.
Yeah, I think the privacy will ultimately solve the copy trade farming meta that we see on like meme coins, new launches. Ultimately, this mercenary capital that is kind of like pumping through copy traders, buying on side wallets, all that stuff. That's what's kind of eroding the fabric of like on-chain trading, and a lot of people think it's unfair. A lot of people think that that they're just kind of juicing their own returns, but at the same time, they're siphoning liquidity. They're scamming people, and you're taking liquidity like out of the market, like actively. So with that being said, I think privacy is going to be really important. I don't think on-chain participants understand how important it is, or even view it as being important. But ultimately, I see privacy as solving a lot of the problems that we see in the trading environment on Solana specifically. And I think that once privacy is introduced via trading terminals, wallets, I think now we'll start to kind of see a much more healthier on-chain trading environment.
Yeah, I mean, so look at this. This looks pretty bottom. This is very similar to kind of what the solo chart looked like. Volume kind of dries up at these levels. They get close to their net asset value, and then your downside's pretty limited. So I'm not going to say go long or short here. If you're bullish on privacy and you're bullish on privacy at the wallet level, well, Umber's a pretty good natural bet on that. Now your question has to become, okay, what's my downside? So go check how much assets they have on chain, on value, their liquidity pool plus treasury. And if it's 10, 20, 30% below market cap, that's your downside. Realistically, that's your downside. Of course, give yourself some room. Don't be an idiot. There's going to be room for it to always go below fair value. But okay, so Umber's good. Solo, we just covered that. Do we want to see Avicii? Avicii's taken quite the turn, and they raised a little less because this was the first raise that actually stuck with MetaDAO.
Yeah, we talked about this last week, and what I drew here was the fair value chart for tokens in general, and I'll just briefly go through it a little bit here. This is the fair value. There's tokens price. The narrative comes out it has that discovery candle, right, where the entire CT is like all bullish on it, and then it's overvalued technically. And then it goes to this stage of undervalued. Now the intrinsic fundamental value is up and to the right. We see that with Avicii. The metrics are up. They're introducing credit cards, or there's a lot of stuff going on there with Avicii. And so the fundamental value continues to rise, but it's this overreaction or this volatility from the market that's introduced by the market is what results in these wild price swings. So that's exactly what we see here that played out for Avicii, right? Overvalued, hype, discovery candle, everyone's bullish, undervalued. Is that a meme? Aped, are you a meme coin page? Are you a meme coin? Aped? I thought.
Are you a meme coin or a person?
Are you a meme coin or are you a person? Yeah, I saw this account like
GM.
I saw this, GM, by the way. I saw that account like post something. And I was like, I didn't check if it's a meme coin. So I'm like, well, he's in our chat. That's crazy. I was seeing you on the timeline. What do you guys think of my suggestions of doing an evening stream and letting some micro caps for a 5-minute pitch quickies, no holds barred critiques?
I'd be down. Elevator pitch. We could do a Friday elevator. I don't think it'd be a late night. I think we'd have to work it into our normal stream just because like we're already doing 4 hours a day every day of the week, and we have to like get off and actually, do business operations. So I don't know about night, but maybe like on a Friday we have 1 hour set aside to open sign up, I guess.
We used to do that. Like where it's like Fridays was like this day. I'm a person, obviously, but I'm also a meme coin. Oh, we love it. We love it. But
you're not an agent. You're not an autonomous agent here. For all we know, Kitchen is. Has a bot acting on his behalf here.
But yeah, I don't even remember what we were talking about.
No. Crypto Jones suggested just letting a bunch of projects come on. Do 5 minutes is a little short to get. We need the idea of the project and then like also how the token ties into it. But directionally, I don't think it's a bad idea. Maybe 10 minutes, get like 6 projects, 5 projects on 50 minutes, just bang, 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 bang. 1 or 2 minutes to debrief after. And yeah, we used to do this. Back in the day, sometimes we would have a bunch of projects on, just run through really quick.
Yeah, but I think what started to happen there is like you get these like really like small cap projects that just like they just somebody come in, they just take what they can get, and like So I just feel like it's much better for us to kind of go through the timeline and go through stuff that we have on our watch list on for trading days. And that's what
Bro,
you see now is Trader Radio.
bro, people get pissed, guys. I mean, we have legitimately like Primus, right? Primus ended up being a really legitimate business and pretty cool. And man, we get people pissed off if we have projects on that they think are like morally incorrect or not good. And like now you take that to a whole new level when you're doing 15K market cap shitters. We could not do that during peak mania. Like obviously, when things were popping off with Believe, ICM was popping off, the markets were just generally better. Even as soon as we announced the schedule, people would go and front run those tokens because they knew they would come on the show and they get retweets and they get pushed everywhere, and they would just front run that, and you'd actually see kind of like a sell the news into the show. Sometimes we don't want that. This is a market you could pull off something like you're suggesting, Jones, because I don't think even a lot of bids are coming from our, like, we say something on stream. I don't think we have 20 people trailing us because there's not as much urgency to be on stream live anymore. But right, yeah, I don't think we could do that in like hot bull market, but maybe we do introduce that. Something to think about.
Yeah. Ape says I could use an autonomous bot that replies to all KOLs on the timeline. It would help spread in this coin.
Get with Kitchen, bro.
Dude. Yeah, get with Kitchen. He's secretly an AI and he can help you. He can help you with that.
His secret is one of the worst kept secrets of all time. He's on live stream in front of 679 people right now talking about this. So yeah.
Avi Patel. The homie. Few more investors were just added to our cap table. Kled has officially raised 10 million in total. Solana said congrats. I wanted to go to this comment here though, because Damien, the homie, he's like, yo, we need names. Avi said, we'll disclose soon 2 funds and a few celebrity angels. Any good guesses, Don?
Celebrity angels. Oh man, there's so many. I mean, there's so many celebrity angels. I
imagine he gets Mark Cuban or something.
Oh my gosh.
Imagine.
It's just the Shark Tank guys. No.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna throw out some guesses. Not even gonna throw out so many guesses.
Yeah, so
he's got some good ones.
Man.
Founder of Waymo is pretty crazy, I think. Like that guy's doing all things data AI. Like Waymo is a AI data company, right? That's what Waymo is. He invested in Avi here with Kled, human data company, which is very promising. Like if he sees that vision, like I'll tail him on that.
100%.
Dude, one of the accounts I've been loving. I need him on the show. I'm going to continue to reach out to him. Is I'll pop him up on the screen. Is Austin, man. Austin Barak here. Bro, if you're listening to this, I need to get you on the stream. We do a lot of analytical, info dense stuff here, right? We like the numbers. Austin's all about the numbers, and he put me on Grass earlier. I've been calling Grass for the last couple of weeks. It was because Austin shielded and he put out some numbers that were pretty compelling. But he's talking about helium here. In this tweet, we're going to cover all these. He's talking about Aura a little bit. Again, just very numbers driven. Over here, he's talking about SN3, Templar, and some of these numbers. So maybe I'll take some time to just check out, we'll call this the Austin Barak segment here, and check out some of the stuff he's looking at, because genuinely this guy's been on a heater. So shoot him a follow if you haven't already. Okay, annualized revenue about 17 million, while helium burns now making it deflationary. Remember what we said earlier, guys. DeepIn has a big issue. If you have a good DeepIn project, you actually cook yourself because it suffers from its own success, because people make money, more people pile in to do it. They make money in your native token. They instantly market sell. You have a downwards chart only, okay? Great concept. In theory, it doesn't work out in reality, okay? But we did get this AIXBT agent who said, HNT is down 56% since September, while AT&T and T-Mobile now route 132 terabytes daily through Helium Hotspot. And this was a growing network quickly back when I was really paying attention to it, because I did actually mine Helium because I paid for their network and I used it. I had like a location thing on the phone I used with it right here. The Solana phone. It paid for itself. It paid for its own service. So I was like, why not? But 132 terabytes daily through the Helium Hotspot, 11 million monthly revenue. That's good. They're doing 11 million in monthly revenue, 3.5 million phones served in a single day. Market prices this like failed infrastructure while carriers treated like critical offload capacity. That's the gap. And so if you didn't know what Helium did, is Helium covers all areas. If they couldn't cover an area, they would partner with someone like AT&T or T-Mobile. I think it was T-Mobile originally to cover that area. And now it seems like AT&T and T-Mobile, if they have excess, too much demand, they need to offload that other places. They seem to just put that load on Helium, hence paying them. Again, I haven't followed up with this in a while, but really, really interesting. Austin says annualized revenue about 17 million, while Helium burns now make it deflationary. So the numbers are a bit different. Numbers are a bit different here, but let's just check out the H&T chart. I have not even looked at it before this, but I just thought that was pretty fascinating. So H&T, that's not the right one. Crypto, where's my Helium? Not going to do market cap. Yeah, let's just do Bybit here. I mean, yeah, still a rough chart. Oh, didn't even realize we lost chill. It's okay. I'll take it from here. Still a rough chart. Again, suffering from its own success, it seems. It's doing really good on paper, but like the token's doing terrible. If the token was like, tied to equity in some way, I bet this would be doing pretty good. Guys, probably not a chart I would bid. How did they make it deflationary though? That's what I have to look into. If I can find a way to, hey, what's up, Chill? Sorry, did I kick you off the screen?
Yeah, you did. You kicked me off, man.
Did I kick you off?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
no,
sometimes
I just hit the
accidentally,
wrong button.
when we have guests on and I try to like, change the screen, sometimes I accidentally kick them off for a second. Okay.
No, you were cooking. You were cooking, bro. Keep cooking.
Nah, dude. So I don't know. I don't know anything about Helium other than what I just read to you guys. If this is true and it's actually deflationary now, maybe we see the bottom. But bidding a chart like this, it's like at least hype. Hype has over time continuously gone up. This has done the opposite. So probably a fade for Helium here. But if they are deflationary, interesting. It's just this is like the nature of the game. You have to be able to differentiate. We have a extremely wildly successful business here in Helium. Whether they're doing, $1 million a month, 10 million a month, like whatever the number is, they're wildly successful. Partner with some big providers. They made a crazy splash. But the token still goes down.
The market has done this time and time again. It showed that it is unwilling to price revenue and fundamentals. It is unwilling to do that. It did that all throughout the ICM wave. Skipped over tons of projects that were connected to these large businesses and stuff like that. Same thing with we're seeing here with this token with Helium. I mean, the market's is unwilling to price. That's why I was just talking about this earlier about how I was tunnel visioned on ICM, and it's because and that was bad because I ended up being bullish on projects that from a fundamental standpoint were absolutely crazy, but the market just was unwilling to price it higher because of, I don't know why.
Yeah, again, Crypto Jones, maybe it's time to start building position. I need some more upward price action. It's just very tough to revive a chart that looks like that.
And to add to that, Crypto Jones, I'm a very late early person. Right? I might not get it, I might not get the exact bottom, but when I see a reversal, I'm like, okay, cool. When it dips after that big candle, I'll start to build my position there. I would rather be a little bit late and wait for confirmation than start buying and then just, it just bleed out. You know what I mean? So yeah.
And what he means by that is he's a late early person. So we'll take the Bitcoin chart, for example, right? This is early, right? You are early to the early stage of the markets, okay? I'm buying Bitcoin at the very bottom. This is early late, for example. Okay, I'd
go even a little bit. I'd even go the cluster below.
Okay, I was gonna say that too. I was trying to line it up to where this is. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so this is early. Right? Early. You're bidding the bottom. You're early. Sometimes you're even, sometimes you're even back here, right? You're early so that still in the downtrend, you haven't even started the sideways and you're left holding for a while. Then there's late early, right? Which is, okay, now we're still early, but I'm in the later stages of early. And the only difference here is now price has gone from a downtrend or a sideways trend to, okay, we've actually broken some market structure and we're trending up now, but we're still early, right? All-time highs are still up here. We're still at the bottom of the 4-year cycle. And then, you just have the whole run up. And then you have early late, which is right here, right? Late in the cycle. You're early to the end of the cycle, which is like in 2021, 2017. We saw the latter half of the cycle tended to do the best. It actually had the most gains. So you could still get in early at the end of the cycle and make gains. And then you have late, which is buying all the way up here. Ultimately, the only people that get respected are early buyers or late early buyers, and kind of what's in between there. If you're buying early late, or if you're buying late, you're pretty much screwed. So you have to ask yourself where you are. I think if you're looking at the helium token, and I'll tab back over. If you're looking to the helium token, I think assuming we do start trending up in the market, which again, and assuming everything's true that we just heard, it's now deflationary, blah, blah, you're still early here. You're still early here because we haven't broken any structure. We're still downtrend. Early would be, okay, maybe we have this, right? We break out and we make a couple moves like this and you're buying right here. Maybe even you're buying right here, but it's proven to you now that we're starting to move up, and then you can actually be late early. So depends your strategy, right? Those are just 4 different ways to do it. If you need it to be completely proven out that you're in a bull market, maybe even you're a early late buyer and you're buying at tops and you're looking for the last 100% blow off top, which happens, but you just have to figure out which kind of trader you're, or maybe you're in the middle of all that.
And you see, like I'm a late when I say I'm a late early person as well, translating that on chain, like I might not buy the thing at sub 50K. I might not buy it sub 100K. I might not even buy it sub 500K, but I might buy it sub $1 million, or I might buy it sub 2 million, right? Like what the dog doing is a perfect example. Like I'm at like a 2 million entry, but I didn't buy it like at 100K or anything like that. But I'm late to being the earliest. But if you're too early and you don't have that proper edge, you'll just end up getting chopped up in the trenches. You'll end up buying tokens that just die, don't survive a day, don't survive another 24 hours. So when you're so early, you can incorporate a lot of noise into your trading decisions. And so I kind of wait until I see like things like social signals, metrics, engagement, views. I wait until fundamentals, proof of concept, revenue generate. I wait until I see that. And then when price comes down to earth, that's when I start to buy. That's when I get interested. And that's when most people, they capitulate the bottom and stuff like that.
I would say I'm the exact same way on chain. Late early kind of guy. I want the original pump, proof of interest, and I'm buying the dips where I'm still early, but I've been able to research and I see that there's a tension there. So late early on chain. Early kind of though for cycles like this. Like I'm willing to hold out at a loss for a while if I need to. Crypto Jones even said, so back to Bitcoin, we see a bounce at the 80s. Are we early or early late? If we see a bounce into the 80s, okay, so I would say right now, assuming this is cycle bottom, and this is all easier in hindsight, of course, I would say right now you're still kind of early. I would say you're still early, assuming that this is cycle bottom and we leg up to here. And of course, that kind of goes back to what Chill's been saying, what I've been saying, where either we get more price in this range, whether we get a low, to below 60 or in the 60 range. This is early because you're holding, but it definitely is still like at bottom or approaching bottom in our opinions, of course. Let's see if you got to bounce to 80, let's say you got to bounce to 80. I mean, I guess you could still say, I guess you could say that's getting to early late, but I don't even think that's early late. Assuming this is the start of another leg, I think you break 80, come back down, trade a little down there. I think you could say that's early, late early, but I even would say like you're probably still late early even after like a break of this and you get it down here, right? Because remember, a break of 98 doesn't mean you're entering a 98. It just means, okay, we've gotten some market structure break here. And now we can still get in, and we're still early to, of course, delay going to new all-time highs, but you're, a little later than early here. That's how I would answer it. Chill, maybe you have a different take.
Yeah, I mean, very, very similar to yours. I guess it just depends on your overall view of the market. Like in my view, if I know that there's still kind of new lows to be explored, then anything before that happens is early. Like you're ahead of the game, and you could easily be holding underwater bags for a little bit. So yeah, I would say that, but it's all dependent on how you view the market. Like, I think we go for new lows. So, I would much rather wait until those lows are explored. When we get a reclaim and we start to trend up again, that's late early, right? Like when we start trading higher and then you get the confirmation of that low, all right, bet it's late early, but there's still a ton of opportunity. So I'm a buyer of tokens between like 800K, but I would say between even lower, like 500K and like 2 mil. That is, in my opinion, kind of like late early, where you kind of already get that attention and you get that proof, and now you can just hold for higher. But yeah, Jesus, Zek is going crazy. It's up almost 20% on the day.
Jeez
My
Louise.
goodness, what a candle. Oh
Jeez
my
Louise.
goodness,
Let's
what a
do,
candle.
Wow.
Bang, bang.
Wow.
Yeah, that thing is
19.7%. Jeez.
that thing is going crazy, man. Kind of wish I longed. We were talking about that, but this is late early right here. This is late early. Boom, you get the discovery candle. It's confirmation of a breakout. I'm gonna wait for a pullback, and this might go crazy. This might go all the way to $300 before it starts pulling back, right? But eventually, when it does pull back, that's my entry, and I think we're about to get a lot of golden opportunity entries, on this next dip for Bitcoin. So that's where I'm going to be concentrating most of my energy. Wonder what the news is on Zek. I don't think there's any news, to be honest. I think it's just pure price action, bro, to be honest with you.
Yeah, this is your late early right here. Boom.
Yeah.
And like so look, yeah.
Yeah.
So look at Zek right here. Early, right? Way sideways for a long time, kind of actually, downtrend for a while. You're early if you're here. This right here, this pump, like massively up. Look, I'll even show you. Like this is 200% pump, but you're still early in the grand scheme of things, right? This is late early.
Yeah.
Excuse me. This is late early, and you're buying on this dip, or you're buying on this dip. There's not just one zone, right? This is all late early. And now, as we get up to here, now you're talking about early, late, and this is late. Same thing, right? Early, right? Maybe you take L's here, take some L's here, right? We're still downtrending. You break structure here, come back down. This is late, early, and then so on and so forth. So another example. I think Zach's actually a really, really clean example of this.
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
So I'll bounce to my next Austin point. May I?
Yeah. Do you think?
Just gonna run through it. Top 10 in token holder revenue over the last 34 days, or after last 24 hours, and 2.3 million revenue in the last 30 days, finding strong support at 50, from which it has subsequently bounced to $100 multiple times. The only independent decentralized SOV asset to inherit the full Solana technology stack, or looking very interesting here, or is consistently sitting on this top 10 chart. I will say that very consistently. And I don't follow this one. But if Austin's saying we need to look at it, we need to look at it, damn it. Oh,
jeez. I'm sorry. All right, guys. Is yeah. Sorry about
time
that.
for some water.
Yeah, it's about that time.
Yeah,
or it's looking kind of rough on the chart.
Yeah, I think it is at 57 million though, so I wouldn't look at these numbers here. So 57 million, but again, off a dip, and again though, we're sideways. We're really sideways here, so it could be that level you're looking to enter here if you want to be really, really early until you get some proof of a pop. I would probably wait for the pop, but if you like Aura and you have like strong conviction, I guess the numbers are there. This does look pretty solid. Like, this is the price action before it had the original pop here, right? Pretty much sideways. Now we got the pump. We got any bounce off was faded into, bounce off faded into. But again, it's only going so low. It stopped here this time. This next fade off didn't go much lower, right? Stopped here. And this final fade off, it's found support here. So this is clearly a range where bidding seems reasonable. I would say if you get any dips into lower range on Aura, and I'm not super familiar with it again, so I'll preference with that, maybe a good bid. It's held very, very well here. So I will say that. And again, this is what happens. You go sideways, sideways, sideways. Market finally picks up. People start realizing, numbers start manifesting. People start following and chasing, piling in. Then you get the pop. And I think that's when you go into your late early. And that's where I'm probably a buyer more so. So, okay, there's Aura. Do you know anything about Aura, Chill, or you want to add to anything?
Nah. I don't really know much about it. I've heard the revenue numbers, but haven't really chilling on it.
Dom, have you ever get any answers about why your internet has gone so bad lately? I actually don't think my internet's been bad lately. I think we've attributed it to some of the stuff I've had open on my computer while I stream. I got my setup here. I got a PC, which was really good when I built it. I think there's probably some parts that are a bit dated now that I have to re-up, but I have a massive curved monitor and I have Discord on one, Telegram over here. I have 50 tabs on the majority of my curve. And then I have Discord again. Then I have Twitter Pro. So I got a lot running. And then, of course, in there is terminals. And so I think that was pairing with StreamYard somehow froze my screen up. Have I been freezy this stream, Chill, or has it been a little better?
You have, it has been, but it's better. It's better. It's less frequent, I would say.
Still trying to figure it out, Crypto Jones. We're gonna make a switch to OBS, and hopefully that fixes some stuff.
Yeah, I think there's there, even when we have guests on, sometimes certain guests can't. Dude, Paragon would be perfect for the troubleshooting. Daddy Duster, that's that's an OG right there.
We talked to Gavin, bro.
That's an OG MCG listener right there. Yo, that's crazy. Flashback, bro. Holy moly.
RIP, bro. RIP.
But
that's hilarious.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. But yeah, no, we're making a switch to OBS to there's a lot of things that StreamYard messes us up on. So yeah.
SN3, one I have not been following again. But again, Austin's looking at it, boy. So
yeah, dude, I've been hearing about this one, Templar. I'll send you the link to a nice little article from Tommy.
You want to just pull it up yourself and run it
dude,
through?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Austin's preference here. So this was Austin's chart. He quote tweeted a Templar post, which I have been seeing outside independently from Austin. We just completed the largest decentralized LLM pre-training run in history. Covenant 72 billion permissionless on BitTensor subnet 3. BitTensor mentioned, boys. BitTensor mentioned. So there is this convergence happening. 72 billion parameters, 1.1 trillion tokens, commodity internet, no centralized cluster, no whitelist. Anyone with GPUs could join or leave freely. Okay. Not going to read the thread, but that's context here. Austin quote tweets, Templar completed the largest distributed and open LLM pre-training run in history. SN3 is trading at 40 million market cap right now, and it's not yet listed on any sexes. A lot of alpha just researching what's interesting and leaning into the on-chain friction points before it is easy. Remember this, guys. If you're in a bull market and something's difficult to buy, it's often worth your while to jump through the hoops to make sure you can buy something, because that's once it becomes easy, everyone piles into it, and that's your edge. Then come back now, right? So his first tweet was 40 million. So again, Austin continues to cook. He goes, Templar now at 93 million market cap. Look at that chart from 20 to nearly 100. You can't argue with that chart. People are quickly realizing that leading distributed LLM training protocols powered by internet scale incentives will be worth tens to hundreds of billions of dollars. So that's kind of the thesis. I'll let Chill go through the thread.
Yep. So here's the shout out the homie Tommy, who put this one on my radar. Tommy, he retweeted this one. Templar 3, the most asymmetric back and decentralized AI is the title of this article. But basically, like Dom mentioned, um, it is a subnet on Tau. But basically, the Templar team published a paper on ArcSiv. I have no idea what that is, but the title was Covenant 72B, pre-training a 72B LLM with trustless peers over the internet. What that means in plain English is this: they trained a 72 billion parameter AI model from scratch using strangers' GPUs scattered across the globe, connected by regular internet, coordinated by a blockchain with no central server, no data center, no corporate entity controlling the process. That has never been done before, not by any crypto project, not by any research lab, not by anybody, period. So that's really like why everyone is, really leaning in to Templar and why they're so bullish on it and everything like that is just because this is literally the first of its kind built like this. The previous record for decentralized training was Prime Intellect's Intellect 1 at 10 billion parameters, and this one is 72. Templar did it fully permissionlessly with 20 plus anonymous miners, each running clusters of B200 GPUs. The model isn't a toy. It scores 70. I guess it's well beyond benchmark on a lot of these tests that are ran on AI models, so it's above average. I had to sit with those numbers for a minute. A decentralized network of anonymous miners coordinated by blockchain just produced a model that outperforms the $70 billion model Meta released in 2023 from $1 billion data center. Wow. So the equivalent output that you get from, anonymous miners, you're basically like pooling together the GPU power from people in the world. They don't know each other, but they can coordinate with each other and provide access to GPUs. And through this like novel, never before seen way of building an LLM, someone was able to build an LLM that has beaten what Meta released a couple of years ago. So that's actually pretty crazy. You can now build an LLM that's completely outside of corporate interest, and I think that really aligns with kind of what Tau was meant to do anyway. So yeah, this is a pretty long article here, and it goes into like a lot of the specifics. So I mean we don't have time to read all of it. But yeah, I'm actually gonna be, let me follow this guy. What is this? Ender FNF. Interesting. I gotta follow this guy and just kind of keep up with him. But I like the article that he put out, and Crypto Tommy also put out an article as far as like as far as like his own thesis on it. It was a lot shorter, but he basically said OpenAI is 800 billion, Anthropic is 380 billion, XAI is 200 billion. Meanwhile, at 60 million market cap, this Templar LLM has been built. And he kind of shared his thesis where like all these corporate companies, like all these corporate AIs, they have to bend the knee to governments and corporate interests and stuff like that, where this is completely permissionless and more aligned with the crypto, the kind of OG crypto thesis. So if decentralized networks can coordinate serious pre-training, then one of the biggest moats in AI starts to shift. The moat is no longer who owns the biggest data center. It becomes who can attract, verify, and coordinate the most useful global compute. And that's why the valuation gap is so interesting. A network valued around 60 million, now 90 million apparently, is aiming at a problem category. The market assigns 200 to 500 billion in valuation.
Look, people don't care where they get their
Wow.
inference from. They just want
Yeah.
to get it for cheap whenever they need it. And so if someone can coordinate all that, and whether that's a data center and you have to build out a massive data center to source all that stuff, or you can decentralize it and pull from 100 different other places or pull from 10 different data centers.
Yeah.
Then that works. So yeah, if they can figure out the coordination, it's big. Shout out Tommy. Tommy does do good write-ups. He's a good trader.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else you want to run through?
I got one more thread for us, and then we can wrap it. It's the newest curated launch from MetaDAO. And let's dig into some of their numbers because some people are fighting, some people really like it. Mike Dudas had a tweet on it recently, which we're going to run through as well. So Pine Analytics, we're going to read through this. It's not too long. We're going to skim it, but it'll give us a better idea of what's going on. But before that, let me actually look into 2 more tweets I had for you guys. So okay, perfect. So Mike Dudas, in response to this guy Wazi, who is responding to this guy Crazy Drops, who is responding to Crypto Telugu, who is responding to MetaDAO. We're gonna just go through it for all of you guys. MetaDAO says officially official. The next ICO is live, P2P.me, which will be going live on March 26th. And P2P.me is Cypherpunk 2.0, essential from P2P. Use VPN. No, that doesn't give a good description of what it is. P2P, the hard way to get rich is to trade short-term outcomes. The right way to get rich is to participate in creating the future by picking up stakes early and building the future you believe in. MetaDAO enables that. Okay, again, they didn't really explain what they were, but that'll come. Don't worry. So, this is the recent raise. They're aiming for 6 million, which is difficult in this market. So we have to try. Let's try to see if we can justify it or if it's not justifiable. Here we go. Crypto Telugu says extraction continues. Another project on MetaDAO planning to raise 6 million. MetaDAO is no longer the speculation IDO. The special IDO platform has become just another launch pad running raises that mostly favor projects, not users. Last sale, HeroPay was canceled after failing to reach 3 million target. I'm going to skip this one. Will you join? Let me know. Lots of emojis. Whatever. It's got 43.3 thousand views. 43.3 thousand views. In response to this, Crazy Drop says easy skip this MetaDAO new sale. Annual revenue of 578,000, yet asking 6 million here. Monthly allowance per person is 3K. Monthly allowance per person is 3K. Growth and legal might go to same stuff. Not much, but in India, 3 lakh each month for this. I don't even think they need 25 people just to run a sub-grade payment person-to-person service, P2P service. All lies and extraction. And you can see some of the numbers stated in the MetaDAO here. Okay. Team salaries, 25 staff. That is a big team. Jeez. Pretty big. I mean, pretty big team. They got a big operation going. So whatever. So you can see that there. Let's go back one. Wazi Deployer has a response, a rebuttal, if you will. I mean, if you actually do the due diligence on what they have disclosed or ask your AI to, a current stat is that they have already burned through $2.5 million. The old investors aren't re-upping and in fact are willing to subordinate themselves to new money. Okay. And then Mike Dudas responds. He says, I did actual due diligence after reading this post. The old investors say they are indeed participating in size in this round. The company has indeed burned some of their pre-seed capital, which is the entire point of raising pre-seed capital. You invest for future revenue. You'll be shocked to hear what that many public tech companies still burn money to grow. Okay, Mike Dudas is right. And then you come over here. Men literally spend their Sundays fudding on X of looking objectively at the data and instead of objectively looking at the data and talking directly to the team. The team says you're very likely to see old investors participating in the ICO. They love us and progress we made over the last 14 months since our last raise. Not only they will participate, they will bring along their friends again. Okay, so that's what P2P says. Look at the numbers here. This is the weekly USDC plus fiat volume on P2P. It's over 1 million. It's been over 1 million here these last, two of the last couple of weeks. Okay, so revenue, numbers are growing, and that's pretty rapidly at that. So let's do our own due diligence. Now that you've been caught up, let's do our own due diligence here on P2P from Pine Analytics. Man, love what they do. Always do great work. Shout out Pine Analytics, 17K impressions. Good. They deserve it. Okay. MetaDAO ICO analysis. Executive summary. P2P is a non-custodial USDC to fiat on and off ramp. We know this is important. on and off ramp from USDC to fiat, using zero knowledge, KYC, and on-chain settlement to let users buy, sell, and spend USD3 through local payment rails like UPI, PIX, and QRIS. Not sure what those are. The protocol is live in India, Brazil, Argentina, and Indonesia. Okay. With 23,000 plus registered users, and peaked at 1.97 in monthly volume in February 2026. It's backed by Multicoin Capital, Coinbase Ventures, and Alliance DAO. Okay, it's pretty good. 2.33 million raise, and is now launching a P2P token via MetaDAO's ICM framework, targeting a 6 million raise, and they're targeting a 15.5 million fully diluted value. Right here, we got to break this down. Seems like it's basically neobank. Allows you to spend, allows you to on and off ramp. They got 23,000 registered users. They had a peak of nearly 2 million in monthly volume in February. That's what I would take from that. Good notes. The product is real. The traction is on-chain verifiable, and the privacy-first design addresses genuine pain points, particularly the bank freeze problem in India, where 78% of users are concentrated. 78% of users suffer from bank freezes? That's crazy. However, if I read that right, however, at 15.5 million FTV, the valuation looks stretched relative to fundamentals. Annual gross profit, what the protocol actually captures after merchant commission, is running at roughly 82,000, implying 182x multiple. Active user growth has pleaded since mid-2025, and the planned expansion to 20-plus countries risks diluting focus before the protocol has saturated the market it's already in. Strong product, real usage, but the price requires growth assumptions and data doesn't yet support. Not going to read through the app too much. Don't really care. Just care about the numbers, frankly. No traditional KYC is required to start using it. Just zero knowledge verification that prevents fraud. The claim fraud rate is less than 1 in 25,000 transactions, which is, they say, is 100x better than conventional P2P services. Business details: they raised 2.33 million, 80K from an angel in March 2023, Alliance DAO 350K, Multicoin Capital 1.4 million, and that was out of 15 million FTV. So you're getting around the same price there. And Coinbase at nearly a 20 million FTV. So Coinbase is going to be down on this raise. You get a cheaper price than them. They have 1,000 plus liquidity providers globally and currently serve India, Brazil, Indonesia, and Argentina, with Venezuela in the alpha. The TLDR pitch: it's essentially a non-custodial P2P marketplace for converting USDC to local fiat rails, and similar to Binance P2P or local Bitcoins, but with privacy-preserving identity verification, on-chain settlement, and dispute resolution, and protections against bank freezes risks. A Solana deployment is coming next. Merchant volume versus protocol revenue. So merchant volume metrics of March 1st, 1 million, protocol revenue 25K. So for every $1 million in volume, they make about 25K. So they made about 50K the month they did 2 million. It looks like on average here, they're making about, a little, call about 30K a month, I would say. Yeah. They're making about 30K a month. It peaked recently. It looks like the chart is going up though. You should expect this to do 30 to 50, I think, monthly. 6 million valuation. So 12 more, 36, 48, 60. That's 600K annualized, right? If they're doing, if they're doing 30, okay. No, if they're doing 30K a month, that's 360K annualized. Okay. 360K annualized. They're raising 6 million. So 20x multiple. P2P has been live since mid 2023. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. The protocol generates just 5K cumulative in its first year, with several each month running negative. Revenue inflow. But it looks like those numbers have since kind of stabilized and changed. Yeah. Since stabilized in 34 to 47K monthly range. Cumulative protocol revenue reaches 327K through mid-March. Okay. So, I mean, if you annualize this, they're actually, they're not doing too bad. About 3 to 400K. Okay. I'm not going to read through it monthly, but you can see here. ICO, okay, so at a 15 million valuation. I don't know. What do you think? So they're doing about, call it 400K annualized at a 15 million valuation. That's 30x. I don't know. That's 30x price to earnings here. Quick maths. Not sure if that's completely accurate. Let's see. They're doing 300K revenue, 10x would be 3 million. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So, oh man, 50x. 300K at a 15 million valuation is 50x. Okay, geez. Yeah, I don't know, boys. Let's see. Let's read their concerns. Given the protocol is looking to raise 15 million valuation, we have a handful of concerns around whether the protocol justifies this price. First, although the protocol is doing around 500K in annual revenue at the current rate, so I was being conservative, most of this is eaten up by merchant fees, so the yearly gross profit is closer to 82K. Oh man. This number matters more because it's what the business itself actually captures. Oof. Yeah, these numbers don't make it look great, boys. There is a bull case here. I would go read through it yourself. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but these numbers don't look great. I do have a feeling in this market they maybe don't reach the number. Not wishing bad on them, but that's probably.
I mean, look, guys, it's a bear market. You know what I mean? People are more stingy with their capital. I did a poll the other day. Most of the people that replied to the poll have been in crypto for at least 4 years. A lot of people know how the game goes. You have a lot of sophisticated actors in the on-chain environment right now. And if you're looking to raise money, no one's giving it to you easily, right? Like that's just typical bear market, you know. And that's not an indictment on the projects, not a reflection of anything that they're doing. It's just a reflection of where we are in the market cycle right now.
Yep, but that's all I have for you guys to wrap with. Chill, do we want to pull up schedule? We have big streaming day on Tuesday. I think it's tomorrow. We have ICM.run demo day.
We got a big week.
Yeah, it's a big week, chill week. Maybe we can get someone filled for Thursday, but go ahead and pull that up and we can run people through what we're looking at. And if you guys want to support the show, make sure to trade with us on Trojan. Bottom left corner's QR code. That always helps us, keeps us going, and we appreciate you guys when you do that. So shout out to Trojan, shout out to Meteor for keeping the show going, and shout out to Orgo for, always supporting the show as well. So we appreciate our supporters, guys. Remember, if you want to trade, you want to keep the most money, you want to retain the most money, you want to make the most money, you choose Trojan, and that's why we've partnered with them. So thank you so much for that. Chill. I'm going to bounce it to you, boy.
Say less. So we got the streaming schedule for the week. Today we had the guys from Yumi on. They're building a new age launchpad, or should I say next generation, on ETH, on base. So, excited to see what they did. They're doing over there. Had a great conversation and how they're looking at, token launches and ownership and all that good stuff. Tomorrow we have ICM demo day. We'll be having a ton of guests on tomorrow. So you definitely want to catch tomorrow's stream. We'll start off tomorrow at 12 p.m. With Go Save app. Then we'll have Dapital. We'll have the guys, friends of the show from CPT, Impulsor. I think we'll have Roman on tomorrow from Impulsor. We'll have Dominion Market on at 2:30, and that should close out the day tomorrow. On Wednesday, got a very nice set of projects on blocks. I've actually know some guys that are really bullish on blocks, so happy to dig into them. Looking forward to having them on the show. And then Perch. I don't know if you guys remember Perch, but the CEO of Circle actually kind of shilled Perch on the timeline a few weeks back.
Shilled a while ago, yeah.
Yeah, he it's been on my radar ever since, but I'm seeing a lot of tweets about people kind of being bullish on Perch. So excited to dig into them. And then for Thursday, we actually confirmed Collude for Thursday. So we were just talking about that just today, just a few moments ago. We were talking about how the Collude chart was going absolutely stupid. So excited to dig into them and see what the heck they're building and what people are so excited about. So that's a big week. And then Friday we'll be having some DL. I'm gonna start calling it DLM. We're gonna have some DLM traders.
So DLM, that just stands for Dynamic Liquidity Market Making, I'm assuming.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know. These abbreviations, I feel like this is how I go. I see abbreviations, I just roll with them. I never actually know like what it means half the time. It's just like, oh, that means this, and I think it makes sense in my head for this to mean dynamic liquidity market making. But I also for SOAR, when they had the what did they call their model? What does SOAR call their model?
DRP.
DRP. I thought it was like the debt reduction program or something. I don't know. I completely had the wrong like.
You just got it in your head and you went with it.
I know, dude.
Yeah. But nonetheless, that's the schedule for this week. Looking really good. Friday's show will be Trader Radio. So, you know, a show structured like this one where we're just, you know, coming on stream, yapping it up. And, you know, we'll be getting traders, more traders on each week to just come on and chill with us. So that's the schedule for this week. You definitely want to follow us at MCG Live. Look, we're cooking. We've been delivering a lot of value, so we plan to continue doing so. We really appreciate all the love from you guys. So, chat, hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. Stay safe trading, and we will see you guys tomorrow.